Alright, y'all, we back with another one. Sorry. So this time we have our compilation video for all my NorthEast artists. This was actually some of my I feel like I was in a certain bag when I was interviewing these artists. I feel like by this time in my interview career, I became just a little bit more confident in what I was looking for and the questions that I was going at. And then also, you know what I'm saying, the artists that I was able to tap in with, they were really dope artists, as everybody I tapped in with, very dope artists. So first and foremost, I was able to tap in with my homie PB Mogul up there in Utica, NY. Shout out to him. Then I was able to tap in with my homegirl Cookiee Kawaii out of New Jersey. Really dope interview. Much appreciation to her for that one. I tapped in with my homie Medina up there in New York as well. Super introspective cat. Really enjoyed that conversation. And then finally ended it off with my homies JDollaz. JDollaz was a really dope interview for me as well. If you don't know, he's legally blind, so he's a legally blind rapper, and he definitely puts on for other people with that disability and is doing it for the kids, and it was a super positive interview. So anyways, make sure that y'all tap in with this compilation. Thank y'all so much for watching the last one. If you like it, like, subscribe, share with your people. See y'all on the next one. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy KFM Country Fan Mail Podcast. Got another dope episode coming in, man. Y'all better stay tuned. It's gonna be dope. Y'all don't want to miss it. I'm just gonna keep on going. I say that every single time, but I'm gonna make it so I say a little something different. So I'm just gonna keep y'all making y'all wait until I run this reel. Let's go. Yo, thank you for coming back. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you for checking in with anything that Country Fan Mail Network has dropped. Like, whatever y'all do, it means the world to me. We are here back for episode 119 of Country Fan Mail Podcast. Like I said, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. We celebrating 10,000 listens. That just happened. I think that was last week. Man, let me just say this real quick. This last week has been long as man. I'm trying not to curse within the first 5 minutes. I probably should have told my guest that too before I brought him on. I'm trying not to curse for the first 5 minutes, but if it doesn't happen, that's completely fine. But yes, like I said, we're back here with another dope episode, another dope interview. Been working, trying to get this artist on the podcast. It feels like it's been like about 2 months now. It's been like, just a back and forth, just kind of like scheduling. That's all it is. And, what I'm saying, you have to, when you have two great things going on, you have two planets, they don't always align. But when they do align, great shit happens, you know what I'm saying? So that's where we're at with it. Bringing this cat on the stage. I'm actually not even 100% sure how we got connected, but I'm glad we did. I've been checking out his music. I've been checking out his impact on the game up there in New York, and the fact that he's actually, being noticed in a lot of different corners. So without further ado, I'm gonna introduce this cat to the stage. Up and coming artist from New York, PB Mogul. What's good, G?
Blue the Dawn, what's good, bro? I appreciate you having me on, man.
Already. I had to get you on here, man, because you be out there talking your shit, man.
No doubt, I appreciate that. Like you said, the two universes sometimes don't always match, but when the universe aligns, everything is beautiful and magic happens.
Exactly. That's all that matters, man. For sure, man. So before we get started with anything in the interview, man, I gotta ask you, what was the first song you listened to when you woke up this morning?
First song I listened to was actually I ain't gonna hold you. I don't think I listened to no music yesterday, bro. But I was up. I'll say this though. I was up late last night in the studio and I was recording a record, and I got that coming soon. It's me and another artist from upstate New York, Benny Slums. We got something coming soon.
For sure. All right, you're definitely looking forward to that, man. So yeah, so tell me. So actually, that's a good little segue to talk about your collaborations. I realize you do a lot of collabs. So you definitely work with a lot of different artists, which is dope. you just mentioned what would you say? What did you say the cat's name was?
The other artist name on that record I was working on last night is Slums, Benny Slums. He's from the same city as myself in upstate New York. That's Utica, New York. He just signed a deal recently with Alk Records. That's Alchemist. So he's another artist from my city doing his thing as well. Shout out to Slums.
For sure, man. Yeah, and I mean, I know you definitely, saying when you get into that, I guess into that mood. From what I've heard, you have a lot of range as far as in the different collabs that you're doing, the different music that you'll make, and that's actually what me and my wife were talking about because I was listening to the Who Shot You freestyle, and it's just like, all right, saying I see why Jadakiss reposted, like I can see why because like you was doing, saying congrats on that. That was a dope look.
Appreciate you.
And then you listen to other tracks like I think I can't think of the name of the song, but it was one of the other collabs with you and White Roaches. Yeah, and it was more so of a like a upbeat, like it can almost be on a family movie.
Probably My Way.
Yes, yep. I think that's the intro, right? That's the beginning track, right?
First song of the we just White Roaches. That's another artist from my city. He's a good friend of mine as well. We just dropped a collab EP. It's called Rejects and Dreamers, and that My Way record. That's the first song to start out the project.
For sure, and it's a completely different vibe, and it was just like, all right, this is like, all right, cool. And I was curious, like, is it gonna stick there? Because I'm hearing such two different things, but then we land on Reject and Dreamers, and I feel like y'all completely answered that question. If not White Roaches, especially with the line, he was just like, I make corny shit from the muddy, and he was just you know what I'm saying? It's like I get it now. So exactly. I just kind of spoke a whole bunch, and I didn't really.
No, it's true though. It's true though, bro. And that's something that I actually, it might not be for everybody, but that's something I pride myself in as an artist personally. Is that versatility and that range. I'm a fan of hip hop and music in general, so that's how I am as a fan of music myself. I like a little bit of everything. Like you said, I did the big freestyle. I've been listening to Big Pocket, Jadakiss, a lot of the legends when I was younger. I listened to the Lil Uzi Verts, Kodak Black. I listened to a lot of the younger artists too. So, and I like it too. So it's just an extent, and all my music is an extension of me as a person. And there's a lot of layers to me. So I just try to express that through the music.
And so I know you definitely you gave a lot of different artists right there, and I'm not gonna say that only those are only the artists that inspired you, saying while you were coming up and you were building your flow. Because I hear a lot of the biggies. I hear a lot of, saying even when, listening to your music. And it's honestly, it's really hard to even spit on that beat and not pay homage to Biggie because, anything else would kind of be a disgrace. So who would have been some of those other artists who had, saying that were just kind of inspiring you to write coming up?
Just like some of the more, known names, I'll start there, would be probably the most influential artist on myself and my style would be one of them. Jadakiss is a big one for me. Lil Wayne. I was a big Fab, I would say. And I'd even throw Eminem into that mix. Those were a lot of guys I was listening to growing up that impacted my style and myself personally. As far as maybe some of the unsung heroes, I mean, not musically, but first of all, gotta say shout out to my grandmother and God first and foremost. That's always first. But as far as artists are concerned, there's a couple. I mentioned Benny Slums. He's a local artist from my hometown in my city here, Utica, New York. White Roaches that we mentioned, I have a couple of the collabs with. He's actually someone that's not only a good friend, he's someone that I respect. He's like my partner in rhyme. He's someone that I really like and gain a lot of influence from as well. And I'm trying to think. I always was into underground hip hop too. Papoose is a name that comes to mind. That I'm from New York, so I've always been into like the underground lyrical stuff from like the East Coast.
And that was gonna lead me into my next question about some being from New York. Like I have to say, like everybody that I meet from New York, for the most part, it's kind of like people from California. If you meet somebody from California, the best shit comes from California. You meet somebody from New York, the best shit comes from it's like Texas. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Right,
other
right.
states, we don't really care. But Texas, New York, and Cali. So like being
and
from New
I
York.
love y'all out in the West. I don't want to get it twisted. Like I said, I take influence from a lot of different places. I love the West Coast and the music too. Honestly, a lot of that like 90s West Coast stuff, that was some of my favorite music as well, man. So shout out to the West Coast too. You already know, bro. It's
for sure. You know, I'm just a visitor. I want to, you know, I'm just a visitor. But my wife, you know, shout out to Pisces, you know, so she Bay Area all day. But anyway,
no doubt.
So yeah, man. So being from New York, like, how did you feel? You know, what I'm saying, like coming up, because I feel like I was raised in the South, so we had a lot to look out to. We had our own culture, and we had the New York scene, of course, which started it. You had the West Coast scene, which was just that went on the gangster rat and just took it to another level. So being from the Mecca, essentially, do you feel like there was like a certain amount of pressure, or do you feel like there's a certain amount of pressure coming out as an artist?
It's a little different being from where I'm from in New York. Utica, New York, and upstate New York is sometimes it feels a little forgotten about. Usually, when you mention to someone you're from New York, they usually assume New York City. I'm a good 5 hours from New York City. So
I didn't realize New York had 5 more hours in it. Like I'm so like included in my mind thinking of New York. Yeah,
exactly. So there's this whole region of New York State, you know, above the city. You know, they call it upstate, Western New York. And it's definitely the same. You know, you're gonna know we from New York, no matter where we go. But it's a little bit of a different vibe. It's not quite as fast paced here. And as far as the music goes, honestly, upstate New York is kind of recently just starting to get its legs under it with artists and groups like Griselda, Benny the Butcher, Conway, Westside Gun. There's others too. Shout out to 38 Special. He's from Rochester, New York. Him and I actually got a little something in the works cooking up. But so we got our own thing here. I didn't feel as much pressure because, you know, we are kind of a little, I would say, behind New York City as far as the relevance and recognition and people taking note to what we got going on up here. And it's a little bit of a different style too. You know, New York City right now, if we look at the landscape in New York, you have a lot of artists in New York that say the Lil TJs, R.I.P. Pop Smoke. There's a lot A Boogie. There's a lot of different sounds going on in New York that aren't necessarily a traditional New York sound. And I feel like that's kind of where here in upstate New York, we kind of holding it down. We kind of have a little bit more like that classic New York sound, and we kind of stick a little more to that. But we do it all too. So
for sure. Do you feel like eventually it's kind of you know, gonna follow the same? Like if you feel like upstate New York might be like a little bit like, I guess, behind, do you feel like eventually it's gonna catch up to the youth is gonna be wanting to kind of still be on that same drill scene, you know?
I hope it does. I mean, I get a lot of, you know, younger people that, you know, reach out to me and show me love and things like that. I think it will. Don't get me wrong. The sound that a lot of people are familiar with, what they would kind of call the upstate New York sound right now, I think they think of it a little more like a gritty, older school sound. And it is. It's very reminiscent of, say, like maybe 90s New York hip hop, 80s New York hip hop, but it's to me at least, it's refreshing and new in its own way. I'd like to think that, I think if it hasn't already, I think it'll continue to reach more people and reach the youth.
For sure. Okay. And I think this is a really good segue. You know, definitely exploring more of your music and looking at more of your visuals. There was one that I waited until today to watch because I knew that for one, I knew it could possibly have been triggering.
Right.
And I also knew that I wanted to really just I wanted to try to really get like a full picture spectrum, you know, one take, just, you know, saying what's on my mind, what I'm thinking when I see it. And I think you might be knowing which one I'm referring to. But moving into your track, Dear White People.
Yes.
And, you know, saying, and what for one, I definitely want to say super dope track. It honestly, I mean, it made sense. That's the first thing that I feel like,
right.
You know, some people want to make tracks that supporting the cause and they don't even make any sense. You know, saying they just kind of slap a name on it and say, hey, we're with y'all. But so getting into that track, you know, there was a lot of shit going on, especially at the time, you know, saying that, you know, around the time that was recorded. What was the mindset behind actually putting out, you know, say one of those tracks? Because I can tell by how much you put into it that you weren't just trying to do it because everybody else was doing it.
Right.
A lot of people did that, but I could really feel that you didn't do that.
Thank you. I appreciate the feedback on that, and I definitely you know, respect your and appreciate your opinion on it. When I wrote that song, it was the day after George Floyd was murdered. A lot of, just like, you know, many of us, a lot of emotions and thoughts and feelings were going on, and that, you know, coming from where I come from, I'm from West Utica, the west side of my city. You know, there's a hood in every city. And I've been seeing things that didn't sit right with me since I was young, very young age. And I've always, like, in my own little corner of the world and space in the world, have spoken up for and stood up for the things that I believe in, especially, you know, even regarding race issues, tensions that I wanted to get out, and my own perspective that I wanted to let out. I kind of knew that, you know, maybe not everyone would have the same opinion as me, or even may not, you know, it might turn some people away as well. But when I started doing this music thing and got into hip hop, that's what I loved about it, was the rawness and the pureness and the authenticness of what I was hearing. And I always told myself that that's something that I was going to do as an artist when I started. And I just stuck true to that. And like I said, music is my vessel for expression, and I put it all out there.
For sure. Yeah, I could definitely tell the realness and the rawness, and, you know what I'm saying, and what you put out. And do you ever feel like you've been I mean, speaking on the issue of race, do you ever feel like you've been discriminated against being because if I'm not mistaken, you're half white, half Hispanic, or half Mexican?
Yep. I'm a quarter Hispanic, 75 Caucasian. I mean, throughout my lifetime, you know, I'm sure I've experienced things here and there. I have experienced things here and there, but, you know, I've never been the type to, like, sit and cry about. There's a lot bigger things in the world, and the other side around, I've always known as been it's a much worse issue going on. So I don't want to be like a person that's saying.
Like I was talking more about music, like more so as far as like in the music industry, because like yeah, I mean like yeah, like I mean because like I mean it's like because in my mind, and you know, please correct me if I'm wrong, you know, it would, in my mind, it seems like, and maybe we're past that, but back when I was coming up, to be a white rapper or a non-black rapper, you had to go, you had to be extra, you had to be 10 times, you know what I'm saying, like we had to fuck with you, we had to give you the
absolutely
or whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever you call it. So that's more so what I mean. Like, do you feel like there was some discrimination there, or have you always been, you know what I'm saying, accepted?
And that's kind of what I kind of knew you were going for. I guess I was beating around the bush a little too much with it. But nah, I mean I have, to an extent, you know what I mean. Sometimes, you know, the white rapper thing. Most people, when you look at me, some people don't even realize, you know, that I'm Hispanic as well, which is fine. But I mean, I have at times. It depends where I come from. Everybody knows me, and I've you know, earned my respect where I'm from, so it's never been too big of an issue. Sometimes I do drop music, and you know, a larger platform might share it or whatever the case may be, and you know, you'll see a few comments in there and stuff like that. People mention the white rapper thing, or you know, he's not down, or things like that. But I don't really let that bother me,
though.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I don't make too much of it, because I know that we're all going to experience some sort of hate in one way, form, or fashion, regardless, no matter, you know, what our ethnicity is. We're just trying to make it and do something with ourselves. You're going to experience some adversity, and I know who I am, and I'm comfortable with who I am. So I don't feel any need to jump out the window and defend myself to some person on the internet that I don't know, and things of that nature. People who know me know what it is, and if you really listen to my music and give me a chance more than maybe a 60-second clip or one song.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you dive deep enough into my music, you know, you'll get to know more about me and see what I'm about, and hopefully you'll realize the kind of person that I am. But to answer your question, yes, I have experienced little things here and there, but I just kind of brush it off.
I'm really glad that you said that. I'm glad that you went into detail. And the reason why I pushed a little bit or more, I wouldn't even say push, because I didn't know I was pushing. I thought maybe like I wasn't clear on the question. But I'm glad that, you know, we cleared it up, because I want people to listen to this, and I want, you know, say anybody to be able to listen to this and really understand that fuck what anybody else is thinking, fuck what anybody else got going on. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter whether you're the white rapper, the Hispanic rapper, the Asian rapper, the, you know what I'm saying, the black rapper from Africa who's not actually African American and has a, you know, there's so many different, you could be so many different places and people be like, oh, you don't sound like, or you don't look like, you know what I'm saying, all these things. So I just wanted for people to hear, you know what I'm saying, how you've pushed through it, because you've clearly pushed through it. So I really do appreciate you telling that story.
No doubt. I appreciate the respect too. And one little other quick thing, like you said, sometimes rappers, say maybe white rap or whatever, they feel the need to maybe sometimes do a little more, prove themselves. That's actually something, I just want to make note of this because it's something important to me. That's something that I've tried to like not do actually. I don't want to, like, some, you know, say in the past, I mentioned Eminem being a big influence of mine and someone I liked. With all due respect, when he first came out, he was a great rapper. He was a little gimmicky, in my opinion. I don't really want to do that. I just try to stay true to the craft and the core of who I am, and let people take that in and they can make of it what they will. But I just want to be me, man. I don't want to be over the top, or I don't feel the need to prove anything extra to anybody. Take me as I am. If you love me, I love you back. If not, it's all good.
For sure. I respect that. I definitely respect that shit, man. So I kind of want to split shit up a little bit. I kind of want to take a different route, because one thing that I realized, you know, because, you know, when I decide I'm gonna interview somebody, you know, I really try to dive deep and, you know, really look into things. And I would like to say you're pretty big on fashion. Like you like the, you know what I'm saying, like to look good when you step out, you know what I'm saying, kind of do your thing. So like, tell me about some of the, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you gotta go, you know what I'm saying, get your shit right. What they call it, put on the nice 3-piece. No, I ain't gonna say. But so tell me about, like, you know, your influences and fashion throughout the I'll just say throughout your life. And like, do you have like a thing? Like my thing is shoes. So like do you have like a, you know what I'm saying, a thing?
I mean, I love fashion. I've always been influenced by, just especially, you know, I mean, growing up where I am and just being such a huge fan of hip hop forever, you know what I mean? Fashion's always been a part of the culture, and I've always taken after it. I would say, as far as my thing, I like jewelry, bro. I mean, I like fashion, you know, like I said, I like to throw that shit on when the time is right. If I got, you know, a performance, an event, whatever the case may be, I like to look nice. I'm still, you know, leveling up my jewelry game and all that. We get in there, but I would say jewelry is my thing, bro. Like if I had to pick some, that would be my thing. And it's an investment too, for those who don't know. You know, it ain't just about shining all the time. It's, if you invest right into jewelry, that can be something that you can turn into later on.
I was literally just listening to something. They were saying that if you buy a watch, if you buy one of those, you know, Rolex, Audemars, Patek Philippe, you know, the real ones, please buy real stuff, y'all. If you buy it and you keep it just as is, and 5-10 years, plain Jane, you can turn that watch. You want a new watch, you can turn that same watch in and probably get what you spent on it. It's either gonna be more or it's gonna stay pretty much where it was. So it's just like, it's literally like you just want to put some money to the side. You got 5 G's, you want to, you know, go ahead. It's a whole thing. But also,
don't get me wrong, I like to shine and throw, you know, I like the look of the bust downs and all that too. But once they start taking things apart and putting things in there, that's when it loses its value a bit. It's almost like a car, you know, as soon as you pull a brand new car off the lot, it loses part of its value.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that. And also, if y'all end up on Instagram and y'all ever go and check out Indigo Studios, make sure that y'all check them out for some brand new custom sneakers. I got these college dropout babes, and I'm trying to tell you, these joints. so excited to actually bring these out. So make sure y'all check out Indigo Studios for some custom. And make sure y'all get this again, custom, not replica sneakers off of a reputable brand on Instagram.
Those is fire. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, yeah, hey man, yeah, I'm
Those is
super
fire.
excited about these, man. I'm definitely super excited about these, yo. But
No doubt.
so yeah, so kind of bringing it back full circle again. You know, one of the things that I like to, talk about is on the lighter side of mental health, what I'm saying? I know sometimes we always talk about, how we all go through things. We go through those ups and those downs. But on the lighter side of mental health, if you had an opportunity to get a message out to everybody in the world, somehow, whatever communication device or whatever way they see a ribbon in the sky, whatever, what would they actually say to everybody?
I would say, because we all go through it, mental health is something that affects everybody. It doesn't discriminate. And I would say the biggest thing for me is not being scared to express yourself, and being comfortable in your own skin, and always being honest. And that starts with yourself. You got to be honest with yourself before you can truly be honest with anyone else. And if you can confront your own things you're going through and your own feelings, and kind of digest and think about them, kind of to recognize where certain things you're going through are coming from, or what's causing that to me is a huge step in the process. It's not an easy thing, but that would be, to me, the biggest thing, just to for me at least. Sometimes I got to sit back, take a step back, and sit and analyze things from a little bit of a different perspective, and just it helps gain some understanding as to why you're going through the things you're going through.
That's a big fact. That's a big fact. I think that's one of the things that hopefully I was hoping that majority of people we learned, especially during the COVID and pandemic, was when we had to sit down, taught people that it's sometimes you need to sit down and really think about shit and process things. What I'm saying? Slow down, take a breath, take a breather. So yeah, I definitely appreciate those words, man. And please let everybody know where they can find you, where they can listen to your music, where they can follow you, and most importantly, what they can look forward to.
No doubt. You can find me. My artist name, once again, is PB Mogul. You can find me on all music streaming platforms at PB Mogul. That's Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon Music, all of it, YouTube, SoundCloud. You can find me on social media at PB Mogul as well. It's PB Mogul on everything. And I got a lot of new music coming out. I just dropped the Rejects and Dreamers EP with my friend White Roaches that I mentioned earlier. That's out on all platforms. You can go listen to that right now. And I have a ton more music coming soon. I have a solo project I've been working on. It's been done for a while. I've just been kind of waiting for the right time to put things out and roll it out. So I got that coming. Let me see it. Probably, honestly, early next year. And before the end of this year, I have a few more music videos I'm going to be dropping, and I have a good amount of features I'm going to drop too, and a couple notable names. I mentioned a couple earlier. I don't want to dive too deep onto that. We got to keep a few things on the low right now. But yeah, a lot of features coming before the end of the year, and a solo project from me early next year. And don't forget to go check out that Rejects and Dreamers if you haven't already.
Yeah, make sure y'all check out that Rejects and Dreamers. I'm trying to tell you, you're not gonna be disappointed. Got a little bit of something for everybody. One song you might play with your kids, another song you might be like, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, so little for everybody, but for real, you're gonna vibe out with it. Country Family Podcast, Clue to Don. Hey, bro, I appreciate you coming on here again. Like I said, it's been a pleasure. Everybody for listening. Y'all already know.
You already know what's good. It's me, Cookiee Kawaii, and I'm here rocking out with Country Family.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Clue to Don, Country Family Podcast. Thank y'all for tapping in for another episode. And as y'all see, I am here with the legendary. I say legendary because, I'm trying to tell you, buzzing. I am here with the legendary Cookiee Kawaii. How you doing, miss?
I'm fine. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Already, thank you for coming on. Like it's definitely been a pleasure. Diving into your catalog and really getting to learn more about your music and the movement that I feel like you represent.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm great to be here.
Already. So the first question I have to ask you, what was the first song that you listened to when you woke up this morning?
Oh, I actually didn't listen to anything. The first thing I did when I woke up this morning was I took a cough drop because, I'm trying to get over this cold. So that was the first thing I did. And then I started binge watching Degrassi. So no music this morning.
Okay. Old school Degrassi or like the newer generation?
It was season 10. It's season 10. So that's kind of like the next generation.
Got you. Okay.
and probably like completely left turn, like, okay, no music, and you watching Degrassi, like, okay.
Nah, it's all good. Like, honestly, I don't even really care where it goes. I'm just glad it's authentic because
I was about to lie, but then I thought about it. I was like, nah, I ain't listened to no music yet. I was watching Degrassi.
Nah, I appreciate it. And honestly, like, I appreciate you coming on here, you know what I'm saying? And I don't really know how to say it, but even though you're not feeling too well, I really appreciate you still rocking with me. That means a lot, for real.
Nah, thank you. I love doing interviews. I love when people want to know more about me. And yeah, it's not like I'm still kicking, so cold not going to stop me from nothing.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. So, all right. So, yeah, let's get straight into it. So tell me about, early times. Like, what was the first time that you actually remember picking up a pen and being like, you know what, I'm gonna take a stab at writing?
It was actually when I was in I guess that's the 5th grade. I was like probably like 10 or 11. I don't know. I don't remember how old I was, but I was in the 5th grade, and we had to do after school programs. So they basically told us to write poems. There was one particular day that was just like, you guys can recite some poems. And that was the day that I wrote my first poem. And then from there, I got addicted to just like express myself in that way. And
sure.
Yeah, the rest is history, honestly.
Okay. So when did it transition into kind of like being poems to actually, making the songs and, what I'm saying, and making the hit?
I mean, for me, I was a poet first and still am a poet. So that transition probably happened towards like me graduating high school. And I was just like, okay, I got to do something. And I don't know, I just wanted to finally decide to see if I could put my poems to some beats and see what it would sound like. So I took it very seriously and just was like, all right, let me just start writing to random stuff. I just kind of just jumped right into it.
For sure. Okay. So kind of like thinking around that same time, because I think we're probably in the same class. I was class of 09, so I think we're probably saying around the same time as far as graduating class.
You graduated before me. I graduated in 2011.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, oh, not 09, like, oh, no, not yet.
My man, I didn't mean to put that on you, but yeah, I was doing math in my head, and I barely graduated, so clearly the math wasn't right. But yeah, but, so I feel like around that time, like I'm trying to think of like what the music scene really was at that time. But I guess my leading question is, or kind of leading into it, is with the Jersey club scene. Like, I realized that the Jersey club scene, for one, is hella unique. It's hella. I feel like it's something that you listen to it and it's a vibe that you never really feel it before. And honestly, like it just makes you move. Like it's just something about it that it just kind of makes you move. So kind of tell me a little bit more about, I guess, your interpretation of the Jersey club scene and what you feel like you do and or do without it.
Well, for me, like, first of all, I'm a Jersey girl, born and raised, so growing up in Jersey, the Jersey club culture was just something that, or just the music culture when it comes down to house music, because I feel like house music is some of the fundamentals of what club is. You just hear it growing up, like your cookouts, your baby showers. Like it was literally like when it was time to dance after we do the electric slide, or maybe sometime after that, you got a club song playing or a house song playing, or a Baltimore club song playing, and that became like a staple of just like parties and get-togethers. Like it's like literally a part of just growing up in Jersey, or even if you're from Philly or Baltimore, it's just a part of that. I don't know, I guess that culture. And for me, musically, I mean, it was almost second nature to also make club music outside of just making regular music for me, because club is its own genre. I mean, that's just how I see it. It's its own genre of music, especially now. So it just became second nature. It wasn't even like a question to also do club music while I was doing still, because I like R&B and soul and jazz, but when it comes down to club, that's his own thing. Like that's his own vibe, and you could take that and enhance that with other genres. So I just feel like it was just second nature to make club music when being from somewhere where the genre is so instilled into our culture of just partying and having a good time.
For sure. I like that, and I can hear a lot of that blend that you have in your music. Especially going back to I'm looking at the your album. It's pronounced your niece.
Yes, that's Venice. That's my government name.
Excuse me. So yeah. So that album is like tracks like Hey DJ, like that track right there. I feel like was a really amazing blend of R&B and also that club feel to it. So it's just like it really just gives you a little bit of mix of both. So you can listen to it in the morning or you can listen to it at night. It kind of really mixes it up for you. So like kind of diving into that album a little bit, what was your your creative mindset when you were making that album? Because that was your first album up since you signed to Empire, correct?
Right. Honestly, for me, when I went viral and like I said, club music has been around for at least 20 years now, and it's not new to a lot. Well, it's new to some people, but to like people familiar with the sound, it's just like seeing it branch out into this mainstream way it's amazing. So after I went viral and I was like, okay, I got to put out a body of work, what I wanted to do was blend club music with every genre that at least that I like. I mean, I love all genres of music, but I really just wanted to blend club music with just different genres and kind of give it like this new evolved placement where it's not just the what we're used to with the repetitive, just the repetitive club beat. It's like, let me add some R&B, let me add some house in there, let me add some. I did a whole rock song. I mean, I was trying to incorporate that club sound into every different genre that felt good to me. So that was really the goal of my album, was to just blend club and make actual club songs and not just club remixes.
I like that. I really like that because I agree. I feel like you definitely did that as far as that blend between the club and all those different genres. I mean, I think one of the first track that really kind of like, I wouldn't say it, I would say it surprised me, but not like I wasn't expecting it to be good. But it was like I listened to it and I was just like, whoa, where did that come from? I think it was Let Me 2021. As I was just listening to it, there was like, well, I think it was like right when the beat is building up. I was just like, oh, like it took that turn, and then like it just really started going, and it really made me think. I didn't know like so you titled it "Let Me 2021." So like, what was actually the mindset behind that title? Because I kind of do too deep sometimes.
No, I released my first album that I released was actually a R&B and soul album. It's called Zen. That's available on SoundCloud. I'm actually thinking about putting it on platforms, but I made a song called Let Me, and it literally is pretty much the same lyrics, the same everything, except I kind of twisted it into being like this hyper club kind of vibe of a song. So that's why I titled it Let Me 2021, because it's like this is like the new version or a new remake. I kind of do that a lot with my music. I feel like a lot of people didn't discover me via me making music prior to club music. So they don't know that I do all different genres, whether it's soul or like R&B. So I try to leave little Easter eggs in my music a lot of the time. So anybody that's like, like me that likes to dig, they'll find things and just be like, oh, okay, this is dope.
For sure. I like that. And one more music question before we kind of take another turn to it. So, when it comes to your music, do you produce your own, or do you kind of is there like a like a community of producers that you kind of deal with?
I do work with different producers, but I would say I executive produce my stuff. Like I don't know how to technicality, like the technical of sitting there and being on a computer and doing all of that. Like no, I don't even have the patience for that. So I used to do video editing. So to me, it's just like no, I'm not doing that. But I could
But you're
tell,
like very much so in hand with what you got
yeah,
going
I
on.
could tell an engineer exactly how I want everything to sound, exactly where to move my layers, my ad libs, whatever I want. I literally structure all of my music. So that's dope. That's
But
really just what I like to do. And of course, there are times where I don't. Some producers just send me beats and I just ride and coast off of it because it ain't nothing for me to really do. Some producers really send me some hot shit. So we
for
just be
sure.
moving with it.
Already, I like that. I like that. All right, cool. So taking a slight turn, getting away from music a little bit. So listening to your music, kind of getting into it a little bit. So tell me, are you a gamer?
Yes.
Big
Yeah.
gamer. Okay. So I was curious because like I wouldn't consider myself like I wouldn't even like what would I say disrespect gamers by calling myself a gamer. Like I dabble, but I
If
really
you play games, you a gamer. Like that's just it. Like we not gatekeeping over here. If you play games, you a gamer. That's what that is.
I feel like because I it's like there's a lot of people that is just like they feel like unless you like kind of like dead set into it, you got a whole little vibe with the community and shit. Like I'll hop on Call of Duty. I ain't never played with a party. I ain't never like I barely even like know how people like what's your gamer tag. I'm like, oh shit, let me find it. I don't know what the fuck I'm
That be
doing.
me
You know
too.
what I'm
Like
saying?
that be me too sometimes. So you a
Already.
gamer. Nah, you a gamer. If you play games, you a gamer. Because to somebody that don't play games at all, even you playing the one game is like you a gamer. Like that's just what it is. So.
It kind of trips them out.
Mm-hmm.
What's some of your favorite games?
Well, my favorite game I won't say of all time because there's too many to name, but one of the games that I would probably put on my top list is Assassin's Creed. Like, I really enjoy the storyline, the gameplay is fire. Um, Honestly, that's just one of the games that I consistently bring myself back to playing is Assassin's Creed.
Which one though?
I mean, I play pretty much a lot, pretty much all of them. So, I
For sure.
mean, I think it was Brotherhood though. Brotherhood when the homies could come and run down.
Brotherhood was Brotherhood was the shit.
When the homies could come run down with you, that was it. Like so,
Yeah.
honestly, you can't beat dressing up as a hooded figure running around like you know what I'm
Doing shit,
saying.
doing
Causing
that
a
shit with your friends.
yeah, beat it.
Already. So, were you like? Do you get into like GTA or like Call of Duty shit like that?
Yeah. I mean, I stream on Twitch, so I'm always like dabbling into. I'll play anything, honestly. Like I don't really have. I mean, I like RPGs. That's mainly I would say that's probably my main genre, but I'll
Mhm.
still dabble in shooters. Like do anything, like because it's like it's. I'm a gamer. Like I'll play anything once. You never know what you're going to like or what you're going to really stick with. So one of the games that I play consistently right now on stream is called Knockout City. It's pretty much like a dodgeball game, and it's a very intense dodgeball game, and it's pretty fun. So I'll play anything.
Already. And I'm glad you brought up the streaming. Yeah, I saw that you said you stream on Twitch. So like, tell me about that. So how is that Twitch community? Because from what I've seen, like even just kind of seeing the different Twitch streamers, like that community shit on Twitch gets real deep. You know what I'm saying? Like it get real invested. Like people really pull back up. You know what I'm saying? They really support.
Yeah.
Whether it's for the for the actual for what the artist is doing within the stream or the music out.
Well, you all
The
right?
music inside of it. Yeah, we all good.
I'm saying stuff getting knocked over. Like you okay?
Trying to play it off. But but yeah, tell me more about your Twitch streaming.
Nah, Twitch is probably super lit. I mean, I used to go during the pandemic. I used to go live on Instagram a lot, and that was cool. I mean, that like, and when everybody was in the house, that was really like peak time to build up your fan base and really engage with the people that's following you.
Yeah.
But I transitioned from doing that to being on Twitch, and Twitch is amazing. I mean, I felt like I fall into the genre of like I'm gonna just say it. I'm a nerd. Like I'm a gamer. Like I watch anime. Like that's just what I am. So when it came down to being on Twitch, at first I thought Twitch was just for people who did competitive gaming. Like it was like people that's just serious. But once I found out, like, I'm like, oh, it's just people on here chilling, playing games, like casually, just having a good time. I mean, I fit right in. I started streaming maybe about it could be 2 years now, and it's just been amazing. Like meeting people that just vibe and are into the same things you are, as far as gaming or anime or just tech in general, because your stream setup and doing all this stuff that we even do on stream, setting up our audio is pretty much you doing the whole production, when you stream. So just me and people that are into these things, and I don't know, it's just really dope. Like me getting on Twitch is what inspired me to write one of my songs, which is Press Play, Gamer Girl.
Gamer Girl, that's my shit.
Yeah, that was literally I didn't know what I was going to do with that beat when I heard it, and then when I started streaming and I seen all these beautiful gamer girls on there, they had elite setups, they got lighting and all time. I was like, nah, gamer girl, like it was over. It was over.
Yeah. That shit hit. I could tell that song was hella. I'm glad you segued into that. That song was hella personal. Like I really felt what I really with that, because like it's a vibe. It really put me into it. It actually made me feel like what's that song by Dear Silas right now. I think it's when he was kind of talking about a girl. So yeah, kind of talking about Dear Silas. Tell me about that collab with Violin. That track right there. Like like that track right there like really goes crazy. And so like yeah, tell me about that collab, man, and making that song.
Man, Silas, first of all, shout out to Silas, because he's fire. He's super dope, super talented. I've always been a fan of his. Like literally I've always been a fan of his. And he did a cover to my song Vibe. Like he did like a whole animation to it of Sailor Moon. It was fire.
Yeah, they were getting it.
Yeah, he be killing them animations. And then he also did one to Violin. And I originally wanted him on my Vibe remix, but my team at the time wanted somebody a little bit bigger for that time. But once things progressed and I got the record for Violin, I was like, nah, like we gotta get Silas on the feature. Like it's mandatory.
He did all the animations before y'all even did the feature.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild. I thought he was, because I was following, I was paying attention. I saw him doing those animations, and I thought he was promoting the feature.
He was just doing it just because, like, his work ethic is crazy. Like when it comes down to Silas and his covers, and when he does something, that's all him doing that like that. Like I didn't tell him to do nothing to Vibe. I didn't tell him to do nothing to Violin. I mean, of course, we followed each other, we supported each other, but I didn't tell him to do that. Like he put a lot of effort and work into just doing the covers on his own. And for me, like I admire his work ethic. I love his music. Like, so it was nothing to be like, yeah, I gotta get him on a record. So he did his verse to Violin before it was like locked in for him to be on the song. So I was like, nah, we gotta do it. We gotta lock it in. So I'm extremely grateful and proud of that record to know that we got to finally work together. So yeah, he's fine. Sure. Shout out to Silas.
Definitely. Yeah, that track definitely goes crazy. And I fuck with it. And I feel like there's certain times where I feel like that club music or the club scene, there's certain songs that when they hit, it reaches everywhere. It doesn't really matter what kind of crevice of the culture that it can get to. And kind of like, cause I feel like just to be honest, I feel like a lot of people probably want to know about Vibe, and it went crazy. I mean, it was stupid. I think it's at like 6.4, the remix, and then the original joint is at like 4.3. So if anything, kind of dealing with the original one, like I realized the video and how dynamic and how much it changed, and like there was representation from every dynamic, and I thought it was beautiful. Like I thought it was really amazing. So like you said that you executive producer, like I want to know like what was the mindset when it came to like putting together that collective from the original standpoint of that video?
I mean, we had so many different treatments that came at least in the thought process of how Vibe was going to come out, and one of the ones that just really stuck to me was like following, I guess, the different aspects of things that were going on in the song on a more, I guess, out the box kind of way. Like even in the beginning of the song, you hear those like kind of like a crow or like a bird kind of thing going off. So,
Yeah, that was
shout out
crazy
to
with
the
that.
director. Shout out to the director Frank. He was like, okay, let's use that bird's reference and put that in there. And I love film. So to me, that was like, yeah, let's pay a nod to that classic, old Hollywood film kind of vibe and throw the birds in there. Then even down to the alien, like the cowboy concept. That's just because you hear that whip
Actually, the
sound.
whip, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everything was kind of like just let's definitely take it out the box. Also, one person that's always on my mood board for my videos is Missy Elliott. So it was nothing to be like, we got to take this just out the box and different. A lot of people didn't really understand. Like, well, I'll say the younger kids didn't really understand the direction of the vibe video and where it was going. Like a lot of people were telling me like they didn't get it, but that's okay
Really?
because like I'd rather you not get it, you know what I'm saying, and completely just be like, okay, you see it and then you forget about it, you know what I'm saying?
That's actually really wild because like I'm really not trying to like I don't try to gas them or bullshit, but honestly the very first time that I watched the video, I had heard the song a lot of times, but by the time I watched the video, I was like, yo, this shit is fucking perfect. Even like with the
That's like the
that part
space.
makes me think of space, and like it just was kind of like you was shooting the people. Like it really like every part made sense in my mind. So and then even for the saying with the remix, it was less, I guess on the same scale as far as like switching up as far as saying what happened, but at the same time it didn't take away from the basis of what was going on for sure.
Right. Because at the end of the video, we kind of like transitioned it into that was my imagination, and now we in real time kind of vibe.
Real
Yeah.
time. Exactly. Yeah. I like how you literally, was that always the plan for you to kind of like, now be standing, be on the same porch, or not the porch, but I'm sorry, I'm not from the city. I don't know what y'all call this.
It's like a balcony, a fire escape.
Fire escape. There we go. Yeah. So like, was that always kind of the mindset, or did the same person direct it the second time? Actually, it's a good
Yeah.
question.
Frank, I think it's Frank and Ivana. I think they're married. Yeah, they're a couple, and they've directed like Little Nas X videos. I think they've done videos for Cardi B as well. So like just the out the box kind of that's kind of what they go for. So
Yeah.
the transition from it being my imagination and then going into the real life scheme. I mean, Frank, they're amazing. The team is amazing, and I'm just glad they were able to like really bring the vision to life. It was dope.
For sure. Yeah, it definitely was dope. Yeah, shout out to them. They definitely do an amazing job.
Yeah.
So yeah, bringing everything kind of full circle. So I like to really, reach out and tap in and ask on a real level. A lot of people will be like, hey, you see somebody passing, hey, how you doing? No, I'm doing good. How you doing? No, I'm doing all right. It's really kind of superficial. So like in a real way, outside of you not feeling well, how are you doing?
Um, I'm all right. Like I'm doing better than I was. I mean, my whole year has been a lot of ups and downs. It's just a lot has been going on, but I'm better now. Like shout out to my therapist, shout out to my friends. I've just been trying to recharge myself and really focus on what I have to do now, moving on into this new year. So yeah, I'm good.
Already,
Better.
yeah, definitely. Better. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, shout out to therapy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to mental health. You know what I'm saying? If y'all don't know about it, ask somebody and don't be ashamed. Talk to somebody who does it. You know what I'm saying? You can get your
Mhm.
help, whatever. With all that being said. So yeah. And if you had an opportunity to get a message out to everybody in the world, whether it was text message, smoke signal, whatever, everybody could read at the same time, what would it say?
Um, the message that I would give out to the world right now would mainly be to pay attention, really pay attention to what's going on in the world, to who's around you, to the company you keep. Um, I feel like right now, even since the pandemic, a lot of people have been locked down And now that we outside and been outside, it's been crazy. Like I feel like I've seen it's just something in the news or something on a blog every other day. And I feel even as I get older, we just need to be more aware of everything. Like everything. Like from like I said, everything. The company you keep, the people you're around, and your mental health. Yeah, like just be more aware and have a little bit more empathy to just what's going on around you. I feel like a lot of people are just so lost right now, or in general, and it's not even right now. I feel like it's a generational thing. I feel,
Yeah.
um, and if we're gonna do better as humans, as people, we just we just gotta pay attention. You know, a lot of people just think you're just supposed to just keep quiet and not really speak up for yourself or speak up for the things that you see going on around you. But um, I, being aware and I guess just being standing in what you believe in is just really, really important right now because there's a lot of manipulation and a lot of people trying to silence, those who really want to speak out and try to make change in the world, honestly. So be aware, have empathy, and be true to yourself. For real. It's important right now.
Already, it definitely is. I definitely appreciate you saying that. 'Cause I know there's a lot of people out there in the world that definitely look up to you and that look up to your message and see what you out there doing I have my little bitty fan base. As soon as I was like I locked in the interview, they was like yo like like people really they really fuck with you. So like
Let me
I,
tell you, I turned down a lot, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I haven't been doing interviews for the year. Like I
I
was
noticed I hadn't seen anything. I was like, oh shit.
I shut it down. I was just like, not that I didn't want to do them, because like I said before, I love interviews. I love talking to people. That's my thing. But it was just a lot going on, and I probably would have came on a lot of platforms just yelling and screaming and ranting probably. So I needed to just like hone it all in, reset, refocus, so that way when I do interviews, it could just be I could say what's important and what needs to be said. So yeah, you're the first interview in like mad long. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate you choosing, what I'm saying, my platform. Like that really does mean a lot. Like it really does mean the world for real, for real. So with that, with what I'm saying, with everybody that out there that that knows about you, or if they don't know about you, let everybody know where they can follow you and where they can listen to your music.
Yeah, you can find me at Cookiee Kawaii on everything. Like it's on all platforms. You can literally just search Cookiee Kawaii and you will find me. Whether it's Twitter, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Cookiee Kawaii on everything. So yeah, check me out. Stream my music.
Definitely make sure you
stream my shit.
now go ahead and say it. Stream her shit, real shit. I'm trying to tell you, it's a vibe. You're gonna fuck with it. It's out there for everybody. Like, what I'm saying? There's something in there you're gonna find for everybody. Literally, my wife, she was just over here. She was just like, I was playing something. She was just kind of like, what is this? What is this? I was like, hey, I'm trying to say that shit. So yeah, once again, I really appreciate you coming on to the platform.
No, thank you. I appreciate you for having me. Like I said, I mean, I love doing interviews and I love letting people know more about me because I pop out and then I go back in my little lair. So I love to let people know, like, okay, I'm a person.
Already. We definitely gonna be tapped in. We're gonna talk more for sure. And make sure that y'all tap in. If y'all need any links, any ways to follow Cookiee Kawaii, it's gonna be right there down in the description below. Make sure that y'all tap in. Country Fan Mail, clue the motherfucking Don. We out of here. Still trying to figure out how to end this without making it awkward. And here we go. Yo, this is your boy Clue the motherfucking Down for another episode of Country Fan Mail Podcast. And as y'all been seeing me promote for a little minute, I got your boy JDollaz on here, man. I appreciate you coming out to the show, brother.
What it do, my brother? Thank you for having me, man. You know the vibes was good.
Already, man. Yeah, I've been peeping out your music, man. Shout out to Miss J Renee for sending me your music, man. She was like, yo, I got the artist. Yeah, man. But before we get into that, I definitely got some questions about that. But first questions I usually ask the artist was what was the first song you listened to when you woke up this morning?
The first song I listened to when I woke up this morning. That's a great question. Oh man. Um it might have been some Tupac. Honestly, I've been listening to some Tupac lately. So it might have been what's that joint? Not Me Against the World. It's a Tupac joint, man. It's at the top of my playlist. I'm gonna tell you before the interview is over for sure.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
But
Is that like your
Tupac.
go-to? Is that your number one?
Nah, so what it is with me is I go on some binges sometimes. So like I'll listen to a certain artist a lot, and then I know exactly what I listened to this morning. I got in the Uber, and I listened to that Joyner Lucas J. Cole joint. What is it called? The new joint that they just
Oh,
put out.
yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah,
That track
yeah,
is heavy, man.
that joint is hard. That's what I listened to earlier. I've been listening to that for a couple of days, but I've been alternating between that and like listening to some Tupac because I was looking for a Tupac song because of a sample that he had used, and
Okay.
then I went on my little binge with Tupac. Like I do that with every artist from now and then. Like Rick Ross, I'll just listen to nothing but Rick Ross for a week straight. Nipsey Hussle, you know what I'm saying? So things like
I do
that.
the same shit. Okay. So like, is that how you feel? Like, is that what you do when you're kind of getting into your creative process? Like, you kind of go to those certain artists that you um, I'll say maybe like you looked up to in a sense.
Um, nah, I don't. I think I go to them because those is dudes that I genuinely um love listening to. See, like I'm young, but I got an old soul, you know what I'm saying? So for me, um I gravitate towards more real rap, music with a message, conscious type of music. So with that being said, like I'm always gonna listen to, the Biggie Smalls, the Tupacs, the Nas, the Jay-Z, because those is just, even though I didn't necessarily come from that era, that's the type of music that I respect.
Okay. And there was somebody, I can't remember who I was talking to. Actually, it was a show Baraka. It was an interview I did about a week ago, and he was saying that he was like what he's realized about a lot of young artists in the game is that they think that they don't need to study the game. They think that they can just kind of come in and have this innate talent for the game, and it shows in their craft. So like what you're saying, right? You were just saying essentially like you study the game even though you weren't part of that era, and I think that's really
Yeah, it is very important. A lot of big of artists have said this in their interviews as of late, but we live in an era where they make microwave music, right? Where the music that you hear today maybe will last a year, if that, and then all of a sudden we on to the next record. So it's like y'all making hot pockets, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, which I got is hot, but only for a span of time, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to the music from the 90s, even, all the way back, those records last the test of time. And you see it with like the versus battles now. Like you see the old school, the goats getting on stage and performing their music and how it's still resonating to this day. But I guarantee you, if we did that 10 years from now, a lot of people will be looking back like, I don't even remember that record.
Do you think they care about that longevity? Like I feel like there was like those artists that you mentioned, like the Jay-Z's and Nas's, like they you could tell from an early on time that they cared about longevity, whether it was from Illmatic to a Reasonable Doubt. So it's like, do you think that, I don't know, I ain't gonna throw nobody's name out there. I could, but like but do you think that those young artists, do you think they care?
um I think certain artists care about longevity, but I think a lot of them don't. I think a lot of them, they in it for the moment to make as much money off the game as that they possibly can, and reach that superstar status. And then after that, they don't really care about the overall culture of the game. And that's just me, right? Like, because the thing about it is everything it does evolve. You know what I'm saying? So, but I just don't feel like this is the natural progression of what hip hop is supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Because
Okay.
compared to where it was at versus where it's at now, I don't feel like our natural progression was supposed to be here, because a lot of the music that we're promoting now is just talking about killing each other and doing drugs. So it's like, what how does that help us? You know what I'm saying? How does
Yeah.
that help our life compared to where hip hop came from, where they started out wanting to break dance and do different things of that nature just to be able to uplift each other? How do you go from making music about uplifting each other to basically telling, yo, like just kill yourself, without saying it exactly like that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I feel you. Exactly.
I don't feel like we're supposed to be here where we at now.
Where do you feel like you fit in that puzzle? Like in the big scheme of things, like, you know, if you feel like hip hop isn't where it needs to be, where do you feel like you are?
I feel like me, I think I want to change my little slice of the pie. And if I could do that and I could motivate somebody else that's coming up under me to be like, yo, I love his message. I love what he had to put forward into the game. And I want to kind of emulate that to be able to continue to spread that message. And I'm not going to say full positivity, because, you know, sometimes when you telling a part of your story, it's some things in your story that may come across as
It
negative.
ain't all
You know what I'm
sweet. It
saying?
ain't all sweet. Yeah.
It ain't all sweet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not telling you not to talk about the drugs you sold, but after that, what came from there, right? Like Jay-Z, he started out Reasonable Doubt telling you what type of drugs he sold, the things he had to do. But now you listen to albums like 444. Now we're talking about me having Picassos in my crib, and my daughter's sipping out of Grammy cups, you know what I'm saying, using as regular drink cups. And it says, like, so you gave me a whole picture of what success can be like for somebody coming from the bottom. And I feel like a lot of artists are not doing that. Every album they put out sound like what they just put out prior to that. It's like you're not evolving to tell me a different type of story of what life could be like for me.
For sure. Okay, I like that. I like that. You got to show that evolution and where you're going from. And I think one thing that I've even seen with your catalog is that you, even in the early time, you know, you're early on in your career, you've shown evolution already. You know what I'm saying? It's like going all the way back. Yeah, for sure. It's like going back to that first EP, We Made It with Nice. Yeah, man. So I was checking out that EP, man, and it's funny. I was actually driving in the car with my stepson, and Candy came on, and like when it first started here, I was like, okay, and then when the verse dropped, I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and choose another song. But it was good. I'm gonna have to listen to this again later when I'm out the car.
But, some of those records you definitely gotta listen to a little. But there's a clean version of that out there as well. You know what I'm saying? So
okay.
You know, even on the business side of things, for me, like one of the things that I want to do is a lot of artists, and I don't see them doing it as much as they used to, but a lot of artists, they used to put out the clean version of their album and they used to put out the dirty version. So like I'm not seeing that a lot anymore. I think a lot of them just put out the dirty version and then they'll send the clean version to the radio to get their song spent. But I want to go back to things like that, because you do have a younger demographic of kids who listen to the music who are gonna hear those type of explicit lyrics and be like, oh, like they might go say that in their classroom. You know what I'm saying? So the higher I am able to take my career, the more I would love to do things like just have better content for the kids to be able to listen to. And that's partially the reason that, like, when I do songs like Be Somebody, the joint that you had on the promo video, when I do records like that, I try to stay conscious of, am I cursing when I'm delivering this message, especially this type of message that I'm delivering about waking up and going to be somebody? I don't want to use curse words. I don't want to do things like that, because we could play that in our school systems and maybe encourage some kids to really want to go and be somebody.
And I feel like that's a really smart move that you did, as far as making sure that your stuff can be played in a lot of places. I know my video is lagging, so I apologize about that, y'all. But I think that's a really smart move, because there is a whole bag, and not even a bag in the monetary sense, but a bag in just like whether it's money, whether it's listeners, whether it's influence. There's a whole bag that you can reach if you just clean up your shit like you did and put it out to a different crowd. Because like you said, now they're playing your stuff at schools. They can play your stuff at basketball games. They can play your stuff, you know what I'm saying, that, like, you know, you can even get sponsored for a game. Like, that's how these rappers get their, you know, unless it's Grand Theft Auto. But like, if you have like a clean game or something like that, you know, that's how these rappers, you know, get their stuff on there. So I really think that was a really boss play, you know, for real.
Thank you, man, for real. And you bringing it to me from a different light, right? Like, I just did it because I wanted to be more positive, and you looking at it from like, yo, like that positivity that you kicking, you could actually get that put into different things. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope in that sense as well.
Oh, for sure. I mean, look at Nas, you know what I'm saying? It's like everybody was laughing at him when he came out with I Know I Can, but then
Yeah,
you heard I Know I Can on everything. It's like
everything.
every UNICEF commercial, every time you seen a little starving African kid, it was like, you know what I'm saying? It was all that shit. But back to that first EP though, man. That first EP. So what I wanted to bring up, the vibe that I got up from that EP. I don't know if you've heard this song by Lupe Fiasco and Gemini called We On.
We all know. I haven't heard it.
Yeah, you should check out that track because it's a really smooth flow between the both of them. And Gemini was another cat that was signed the 1st and 15th back when like Lupe was really popping.
Yeah.
And they were supposed to come out with this mixtape and it leaked, and I used to have it, but I don't have it no more. But anyways, that exchange between you and Nice, I felt that, and I feel like, that being a classic album, I was like, yo, I really appreciated the exchange because you don't have not every pair is a good pair. Like not every two artists get, you know what I'm saying? Just because you put two people on the track or two people on especially a whole mixtape or a whole album, it just doesn't hit right.
Yeah.
And I feel like you have some really legendary ones, and I feel like that one definitely it went there for me.
Yeah, and we got that's like my brother from another mother. Like we grew up since diapers together, and I said that at the end of the at the end of the EP. So our chemistry is just different on records, you know what I'm saying? And every project that I put out or he puts out, like we make sure that at minimum we got one song on each other's projects, and then we always come together to put out like full bodies of work for the people as well. So he got his album that's getting ready to come out soon, and we working on a part 2 to We Made It. I'm not sure exactly what we gonna call it as of yet, but me and him on my new album, I got some classic records with him on my new album, and it's gonna be phenomenal, man. At the top of the year.
Okay, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. So you tapped in on that on your coming up, and you said coming out of diapers. So tell me about a little bit about that. Like, how was it coming up? How was it coming up for you? You know what I'm saying? Like, what were those musical inspirations? Like, what music did they, what music did your parents or your grandparents play in the crib? Like, what was that about?
I give a lot of a musical credit, man, to my cousin Esco and my pops. Like my pops and my cousins and them, they was always super big into music, and my uncle Waz was a DJ. He's still DJing actually. So my pops used to do a lot with him, as far as DJing and different things like that. So they had got me some turntables, from young. So I started out wanting to be a DJ. My cousin, he actually used to babysit me when I was younger. He would sit me in front of the speakers and play me like the DMX album, the joint where he had all the blood on him and all that. Then he would play me like 50 Cent, you know what I'm saying? Like every time I'm saying. And
you grew up in Marcy.
Yeah, I grew up in Marcy, you know what I'm saying? So and my family, they still there, you know what I'm saying? We still in the hood, we still come through there and show some love. And so it's always gonna be Marcy after the day that I die, man. You know what I'm saying? No matter where I'm at, in the world, like I'm gonna put on for Marcy, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't know what it's like to grow up there and see the type of environments that we live in when we living in the projects. And it's not just Marcy, but that's just what I represent. But I represent for every project across New York City and across the world that is underdeveloped, and people just put us there and forget about us, you know what I'm saying? And we got piss in the hallways, and us as our own people is like, why do we do this to the places that we supposed to call home? So it's up to people like me, and I know I can't do it by myself, but it's up to people like me to use my voice to be like, yo, it's time to make a change here.
Do you feel a lot of pressure, like being that person? Because it's almost like because I feel like when you have artists that come from a place that another big artist, or even legendary artist, I'll say, has come from that same place, there could be maybe an undue pressure to either one, be like them, be better than them, or even be different from them and try to walk your own path. Like, so do you feel any pressure on any of those fronts?
Nah, no pressure, because I am who I am, and he is who he is, you know what I'm saying? So there's no way that I'm gonna feel pressure from another man who's 30 years older than me and did it. If anything, I admire what he did, and I just want to follow in his footsteps to continue to be like that next leader, that for that next generation of kids that's coming up in Marcy and in Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? So it ain't never no pressure because me and him didn't walk the same path. So I'm not competing with you. You know what I'm saying? If anything, you laid the foundation for me to be better than you, so there can never be pressure.
For sure. I like that. I really like that answer, man. You're right. You can't be pressed when it's not a competition. You're just trying to walk your own lane, man. I really appreciate that. So what was the next question I want to roll into? So tell me about your team, like where the team, whether it be your your engineers, if you have any co-writers, your producers, anybody that, what I'm saying, like tell me about that team. Like, was it something that kind of was built over time, or was it something that just is kind of starting to come together now?
The team definitely was built over a long period of time, and even with that being said, the team is still small. You know what I'm saying? Is always God first, and then is my parents, my family, my little brothers and sisters that support. You know what I'm saying? All of my family members, and then like you said, Jay Renee, she set up the interview. You know what I'm saying? She's been a very big supportive part of the team and making things happen, and the same way that she tried to support my dreams, I try to support her dreams. My big dog Gil Rios, you know what I'm saying, he always supported my dreams and I support his dreams, you know what I'm saying. And Jay Renee, Gil, we all linked, and for the most part it's always been us three, you know what I'm saying, like as far as like being on the front lines trying to get things done, you know what I'm saying. Sandy Kane, she's a PR, she was working with us for a while, and she still sends some things through, you know what I'm saying. And it's a couple more people that definitely has made some huge contributions to what we trying to do going forward. But the most consistent people that's always been there, as far as like promotion is my man Gil and Jay Renee. Then we got Ayana Depis, that's my engineer. She been very instrumental in helping me develop my sound. And that's something that's super priceless to me. You know what I'm saying? F all the promotion, F all of the everything else. Like my sound is everything to me.
And what would you call your sound? If you had to like have like a signature sound, what would you call it?
What would I call my signature sound? My signature sound would be like, I don't know, man. I would just use a word like astronomical. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just so. I try like the things that I'm trying to create is gonna be like a new version of like Travis Scott, in the sense of like the different type of echoes, the different type of reverbs you hear. You know what I'm saying? The things that we're able to play with, like the type of sounds that I'm going for is stuff that you would hear in pop music, but we're gonna try to bring that to the hip hop world. You know what I'm saying? Sonically, and audio quality means everything to me, and that's why Ayana is such a instrumental part of whatever it is that I'm trying to achieve, because she can apply her knowledge base to like Pro Tools and different things like that. And I can be like, well, I hear it this way and this is what I want it to sound like. So what's the best avenue for us to go to try to make it sound like that? You know what I'm saying?
I think that that is something that the game honestly has been needing, and there's not too many people that are giving it the game that. Like you said, you mentioned Travis Scott, some other people like Tyler the Creator. I think that he is a perfect example of that blend between pop and hip hop, because his albums, he'll have some shit in his albums, like his Igor album, and it's like you'll be like, is this a rap album, or is it, he's rapping on it, but the beat sonically it sounds like something that could be in another genre. So I feel like you got to be able to blend those lines, because they don't really like having us cross over that line. They want us in hip hop and rap, and if we're in the pop, there's only gonna be one of us, and that's Lil Nas X. Yep. So it's like, what I'm saying, there ain't too many opportunities for us over there, man. But yeah, I think that. Go ahead.
No, and that's what I'm talking about. Prime example, like you said, like that Ego album. It's like those sound blends and things you're able to do. You can't do that with any engineer. Any engineer is not going to be able to help you achieve those sounds, because most of them don't believe or can't hear what you're hearing. So it's important to be able to sit down with somebody that can help you achieve that.
I think that that's the best thing that artists can do, is get somebody to work with people who are outside of their natural realm. Like, Yeah, why wouldn't a rap artist work with an engineer who's used to doing country shit? So it was like, you never know what the fuck could happen. You never know what could come from that. Not saying that's what Ayana does. I don't know Ayana, but but I'm saying, just working with different people, man. But before I get too far ahead, man, I do want to play this clip. I was scrolling through your Instagram, man. I was just trying to, snooping and shit, doing my regular, and I saw this clip of you. And what killed me about the clip, for one, is that you were rapping over really one of my favorite songs. And I think the beat was so heavy, was so hard ever since I heard JDollaz drop that song. I really like that beat. So I think you know what clip I'm talking about. But here's a clip of my boy JDollaz back in the day. Y'all gonna tell this is old right here.
Hey, freestyle shit. Your boy Dollaz. Huh. You ready? Came up on them back blocks. As a little nigga learned how to slap box. As an older nigga learned how to pack glocks. Hit your dome piece, have you in the matchbox. Oh Lord, grandmama started praying for me. But every day I gotta get it, ain't no waiting for me. If it's a bag out here, then you know I'm on the way. If you ain't talking money, then there's nothing left to say, nigga. Yeah.
Man, I was like, yo, homie snapped. Okay. And it was like straight to the point. Like, I had another artist on, his name was C. And what brought me to him initially is when I first heard him spit, he was just straight to the point. There wasn't no boo, there was no, yo, check me out. Yo, yo, like, what I'm saying? You just get to this shit. Like, I appreciated that.
Yeah, that's crazy, because I saw that I was scrolling through my gram and I saw that clip maybe like a month ago, and I was like, damn, like, because I be sometimes what I'll go and do is I'll go look at like some of my haircuts and different things like from different periods of time, and like I was like, damn, like I had the high top fade and what I'm saying, had the curls and shit going.
Yeah, that's how you tell time pass, yo.
And I was like, yeah, time definitely passed. But yeah, that beat was crazy hard when I first heard that beat. So,
for sure. I think JDollaz was so slept on. He didn't get his flowers. Like, that album was definitely a little underrated in my opinion. But anyway, we ain't talking about him, man. But yeah, man. So with that, like, go back then, I saw that you were on your way to Cali. You were getting ready to do a show out here in Cali.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, I definitely was on my way to Cali. I'm gonna be back there soon, actually. Working with a couple artists in the next couple upcoming months and everything. So.
I saw you did something with Ready Made recently, right?
Yeah. That's my guy. He out in Texas though. So he out in Houston.
Texas.
Yeah, Ready Made. That's my dude. He coming to New York. He coming back to New York. We finishing a project together as well. It's called Pray for Them. So
okay.
We finishing that project. We should have it done by the end of October. We should have it done, and we're gonna shoot a couple of videos and get some things done. And so, yeah, I'll be out on the West Coast in the next couple of months a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be in Cali, and I'm going to be in Texas, you know what I'm saying? Just doing my ones and twos on that side and networking with some people, you know what I'm saying? Especially, when it get cold in New York, you can't be here, man.
Oh, you gotta leave. Hell yeah, I feel that shit. So what's your favorite region like to fuck with? Like, when you feel more love when you go to Cali, you feel more love when you go to Chicago, to Houston, Florida. Like, what's your best crowd? Outside of home base, of course.
Honestly, man, so far for me, it's been Houston. You know what I'm saying? I felt a lot of love when I went out to Houston. Just from the nightlife, being in the studio, everything. You know what I'm saying? I haven't really done Cali the way that I need to do LA and stuff like that, because like when I used to be out there a lot, I was younger, so I didn't really get to move and groove like that. But so my answer may change, you know what I'm saying, the next time that we talk. My answer might be like, yo, LA is where it's at, you know what I'm saying? But as far as I could tell you from right now, it's been Houston and Miami as well, man. I love Miami. We just I shot my video with Fat Man Scoop out there.
I saw you as you
Miami gave me a lot of love. So I love Miami as well right now.
Yeah, tell me about that video. I saw you promoting that on another interview that you were doing.
Yeah. So I got a record with Fat Man Scoop called Set You Free. And we went out to Miami to shoot part of the video. And we rented a yacht for the day. And we had a couple models, and I had some family on the yacht with me. My cousin, he's a big reggae artist. His name's Jamiri Morgan. and he a huge reggae artist, and he been doing this thing. So he was out there, with me, showing me some love, because that's family.
Already.
And they had me wilding, man. They had me jumping in the water and all that. Jumped in the water with my outfit on, no floaty, you know what I'm saying, and in the middle of the ocean, and
Oh shit.
we was just wilding out, having fun. Shooting some scenes on the front of the yacht while the yacht was moving. So
Yeah.
it was wild. It was a great, a great time, great experience. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. And actually, Fat Man Scoop didn't pull off on the yacht when we pulled off. So we had to get him jet skied to the boat. You feel me? So he went to a whole different location and then met some dude that was waiting for him there, and they actually jet skied him all the way to the boat just to be
Yo, that's dope as hell.
So it got wild, but it was mad fun. You know what I'm saying? We had like $100 worth of Popeyes. We had bottles. Like it was super mad chicken when we got off the boat. Like we brought mad chicken back to the hotel with us, and we left mad chicken in the hotel. Like it just got
like, I don't know if I
crazy.
can eat more Popeyes right now.
So it was mad fun though, man. And we're gonna finish the video off actually in a club in New York. We're gonna finish the video probably in October as well. I gotta hit Fat Man Scoop. I know he went on tour. So I'm gonna hit him up and see what's up with his schedule, and then we're gonna finish that video up.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be dope, and it's gonna be out next year. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna release it on like World Star, all of the big platforms. You know what I'm saying? We gotta do it right. Put a major campaign behind it, because everything that we do here is independent. So whenever you see something going on with me, most of the time I'm coming out of my pocket, or I got somebody that went half with me on something to push the project.
And what advice do you have to the other independent artists out there? Like anybody who's just started to get into the game as an independent artist, or even somebody who's been in it, might have even been signed and is thinking about going independent?
The best thing I could tell you honestly is to build a business, build a brand. These are things that I wish I would have done younger, but just being scared to expand and not really having a support system around me to make it happen. There's a lot of free money out here in the world that a lot of people who don't have our skin color, they make it. You know what I'm saying? They know how to go and get it, and it's there for us. If we could just take the little bit of time to do research and start up an LLC, it's a lot of free money and a lot of free game in this world that you can be, you could get, and you get it and you help that fund your music career, or whatever it is that you want to do, even if it's not music. Go get that money. You know what I'm saying? Start up a corporation and be your own boss. You know what I'm saying? And get those grants, get those not even loans, because with grants you don't have to pay it back. So get those grants and get those people who have a lot of money already to invest in you, and they could write that off on their taxes. Everything is about how you could beat Uncle Sam. So once you figure that out, you're ahead of the game.
And let's not get that misconstrued with falsifying PPP loans, y'all. That's not what we're talking
about. We're not talking about that. We're talking about official business. When you get yourself an official business that you're the representative, you're the face of your business. And what a lot of people don't understand is that you young, right? A lot of the people that I feel like I'm gonna be talking to are young, around my age or a little bit younger than me. What it is that you want something longevity. You know what I'm saying? You want something that you can pass down to your kids. You know what I'm saying? Nike didn't start from nowhere. You know what I'm saying? They came up out the ground the same way that you could come out the ground. The Jordan brand, Adidas, all of these different businesses that came up, they came from nothing, and they made themselves something by being consistent and by doing it the right way.
For sure, man. And how do you, and what about the mental aspect? I mean, so we, that business part is extremely important. And that's something that, I've been definitely dealing with and understanding over, I'll say the last 2 years. I've been going through, a lot, nothing bad, just trying to understand the business prospects. Yeah. So like, what do you have to say about the mental aspect? Like, what mentality do you have to be as an artist going independent?
I tell people, not just about being an artist, but just in life, stay level-headed, stay leveled, not even level-headed, but just stay emotionally leveled. Don't ride your highs too high. And when you hit those lows, don't go too low. You know what I'm saying? If you think about a wave and you have a wave, you want to stay right in the middle of that wave so you can ride that wave as long as possible. Because if you go too high, most of the time you're going to wipe out and you're going to end up hitting the bottom. If you go too low, you may drown. You know what I'm saying? So just try to stay as level as possible to ride that wave for as long as possible. And then when things kind of cool off, that way you was like, yo, I rode that wave for a long time. I could sit here and I could wait out the next wave. I can tread water to wait out the next wave. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not drowning. You didn't lose your surfboard. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So just stay as level as possible. When you get $100 million deal, don't go over the top. And when you feel like, yo, I'm at rock bottom right now, just comb through it and just keep moving. You know what I'm saying? Don't sit and don't get complacent. Just stay level and ride the wave.
Have you ever felt that rock bottom sensation? Like you felt like you was at rock bottom?
Yeah, plenty of times I look at my accounts and I'm like, yo, like I'm effed up right now. I'm doing bad. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, yo, I spent all this money doing X, Y, and Z, and ain't no money coming in right now. And I'm like, I got some bills that's due. I got some things that I'm trying to get done with the music. And, I tell myself all of these things. And so then instead of me just staying complacent, what I start to do is I just look for new hustles. You know what I'm saying? Not just in the music world. You know what I'm saying? I look for whatever job I could go do. If I got to go pack some groceries, I'm going to go pack groceries. You know what I'm saying? If I got to go pick up some little kids from school to drop them off for like a little babysitting service or something, I'm going to do it. And I've done it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's documented. You know what I'm saying? I didn't my homie Gil, you know what I'm saying? His family done employed me to go and pick up, they kids from school when I was younger, you know what I'm saying? Just to make ends meet. Like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I'm not ashamed of that. And some people will probably be like, yo, don't say that on an interview. Like, you don't want to look. But the problem is people don't want to be authentic no more. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to give you the authentic me. And if you don't like it, then too bad. Don't rock with me. You feel me? Because I'm going to tell you where I came from. So when everything is all said and done, you can know where I came from. So you know where I'm at now. I'm not ashamed to go and get it the right way. And people rather me go and make a song talking about how I sold 10 pounds a weed to make bills do, instead of be like, yo, you just picked up some kids from school. Like, what's the shame in that? Ain't no shame in that, bro.
Because people don't want to go the right way. I mean, there's been such a bad stigma shed on the right way. You know what I'm saying? And it's bad to do the right thing. It's literally frowned upon to do the right thing. So yeah, I definitely applaud you for sticking with that. And I mean, and one of the other things that I didn't mention, but as I was talking to Jay Renee, and we were kind of working on things for the interview, she had mentioned to me, which I did not even realize, but she had said that you and her were legally blind.
Yes.
And I had no idea, and I was just like, well, shit, that just goes to show right there his work ethic. Because for one, when you watch somebody and you listen to somebody, and that's what I do with any artist that I'm interested in interviewing. I literally look at them, I pay attention to them, I see what's going on, but I still didn't know.
And notice
so it's like, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like, that's a show and a proof that you don't allow your anything. I'm not even gonna call it a disability. I would just say your life, your cards, what you were dealt, to dictate anything that you've had going on. So like, what are some of the ways that you have, like, what are some of the ways that you've just pretty much dealt with that, or a challenge that you've had that has come with that you just found a way to conquer?
A lot of the times, being a person that has a disability, right? Being legally blind, a lot of people will look at you and not, like, when you tell them that you are disabled or you blind or whatever you tell them, then they start to look at you differently, right? They start to look at you like you can't do, or like they take pity on you. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just trying to understand what are my limitations, then it is automatically, like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Like, no, it was just how I was born. Like, you don't have to be sorry about it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just, this is who I am. Don't treat me any differently than you would treat your sighted people that you know what I'm saying? And in the disabled world, there's a lot of discrimination, you know what I'm saying? So that's another thing that I fight for, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things and a lot of causes that I actually stand up for. And sometimes I don't always make it known, because I want people to rock with me so much that by the time I even tell them, like, yo, I'm blind, they be like, yo, what? Like, it'll blow them further away, because they be like, yo, you already a dope dude. You already got a dope message. You know what I'm saying? This is who I am genuinely. But then when they find that, it blows them away even more, because it's like, yo, like, you really out here overcoming adversity, and you're not letting nothing stop you from doing that. And so that's just who I am. But as far as a challenge, like you asked me, the only challenge that I've had is just trying to get people to be accepting of people with different disabilities and understand and give us a platform the same way that they would give anybody else a platform.
For sure, man. For sure. And speaking of those adversities, I just want to do a quick shout out to my boy Damian Garcia, man. I heard you were out there trying to be a master Minecraft builder, and I want to tell you, man, whatever adversity you come into, however that level is, however hard that level is, man, you gonna beat it. Your mama is rooting for you, so she loves you, man. I just want to give you a quick shout out, man. For sure.
100, man. That's love right there.
Hey, so bringing it back, man. Pretty much what I just want to talk about is what you have coming up, man. I know you said you cooking up cooking up an album.
Yeah, we got a lot of work, man. We got a lot of work. We've been in the studio a lot, and I got a lot of sessions coming up. So just a quick rundown of some of the things that I got coming up. I'm actually putting on my first showcase in New York City for hip hop, local acts, singers, rappers, and then I want to keep doing it, and I want to expand. And my engineer, she had a dope showcase that she used to do called Clash of the Beat Makers. So hopefully what I can do after I got my first couple off the ground is I can partner with her and bring the Clash of the Beat Makers down into the city, because she used to do it up in Rockland County. I also got my album coming out next year. We're gonna have features from Fat Man Scoop. We still trying to work on this Jada feature, so hopefully we get Jada Kiss on the album as well.
Okay.
That'd be super dope. My guy Nice is gonna be on the album.
Gotcha.
I got an EP or an album. I'm not sure which one we're gonna do already made, but it's called Pray for Them. That's gonna be out before the end of the year, for sure. You know what I'm saying? And then me and my boy Nice, we might drop another project as well before the end of the year. So I got a lot of music coming. You know what I'm saying?
You got a lot of shit in the holster. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like I said, I'm trying to make it out to Cali real soon and work with some artists out that way and get some things popping. So I got a lot of music that I'm about to start dropping, a lot of new visuals, and I'm not sure if you've seen, but we did something for Juneteenth where we gave back to the community. So I want to start doing a couple more things like that as well, just giving back to my community, especially around the holiday time. If we could do something where we give give some clothes to the homeless, or give some food back, or maybe some kids some toys for the kids. Like, I want to do something, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna figure that part out as well.
Hey man, that's what's up, man. You got a lot of shit coming up. You got it sound like a jam-packed rest of 2021, 2022 going into it. You know what I'm saying? So like, I just want to let you know for real, like, I appreciate what you do. I appreciate your music. I appreciate your grind and everything that you have going on. Like I said, you actually gained a true fan with me. So this is my fan letter to you, bro. Keep on doing what you got to do, man, and keep grinding. Like that positive message and that positive role model, the really being who, like, what am I saying? Representation matters. So when people see, people out there doing that shit, that's what makes a difference versus people just talking about it. So
100
for sure, man.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for having me on the podcast, bro. It means a lot for me to be able to come and sit here on your platform, because this is something that you building, and for you to allow me to even come and be here is an honor, because when you coming up in the industry, people don't want to give you that chance. You know what I'm saying? And in these podcasts and these interviews right here from the beginning, these are the things that solidify who I am in the game, right? Because they be like, when they go back and do their research, they be like, yo, he did this and he did that and X, Y, and Z. So, this ain't no overnight success. We work hard for this, man. And your podcast is going to reach some new heights, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to keep building together from this day forward, brother.
Hey, I really appreciate that, man. I'll take all the positive vibes, man. But I want to thank you for, like I said, thank you again for coming on to the show, and thank you everybody who has been in the comments. I think this one has been one of the most interactive comment podcasts that I've had in a minute, so I appreciate that. 100. So yeah, this is Clue the Motherfucking Don Country Family Podcast. My boy JDollaz. We are signing out of here. The video will be available, of course, on YouTube consistently, and all the audio will be posted on all podcast streaming platforms. Much love to you. I appreciate
100.
you, bro.
100, bro.
What's good, y'all? This is Medina. We here with Country Fan Mail for season 5, and tune in. Let's hear what I have to say.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Clued Down Country Family Podcast. As you already heard, I'm here with the boy Medina coming out of New York. What's going on with you?
I'm chilling, bro. You feel me? Just finished working on this new project, and I got a few other things in the works that I'm collaborating with, getting my team right, and we're really trying to break down this visionary idea that I got going because I see myself as more of the creative director of where my group is at and my collective and where we moving with our placement.
Oh, really? For sure. Yeah, we definitely gonna get into all that, man. Because like I said, I heard your project and it shit goes crazy, man. Like I really fuck with it. It's on the playlist, and I don't just say that shit to everybody. Like I really fuck with the project, man. But before we get into it, I gotta ask you, what was the first song you listened to when you woke up this morning?
When I woke up this morning, the first song I listened to, it wasn't even a full song. You know the Drake and 21 album? I don't know what song it is, but there's a beat switch in the song. And yo, Drake sounds crazy. It's like he sounds like 21. Like he took his whole it goes like that beat is crazy. And I feel
yeah. I think that's is that it's not Time in Silence or Hours in Silence, but because I mean to add on what you're saying, that whole that tape, man, that album, yeah, they did what they needed to do, man. I wasn't super excited for it. Honestly, I was like Drake and 21, this should be interesting. But man, I ain't gonna lie, I fuck with this one more than the Drake and Future tape, to be honest.
Facts. Most of the older cats that I have around me in my life, they actually like this tape. They was like, damn, Drake got a fan back. I'm like, well, shit, he did what he needed to do then, right?
Oh yeah, he was talking to shit. He definitely talking to shit. That exchange, man, it was definitely fire. It was refreshing to hear for sure. But yeah, man, and for y'all that don't know, you know, I usually do my podcast at night, so this is actually a rare occurrence that I get to ask somebody what they listen to in the morning, and they be able to remember this fast. Because usually I talk to cats at night, they be like, "Oh shit, man, I don't listen to everything at this point." But yeah, man, we getting back to y'all the same breath in the morning medicine as we used to. But so kind of go ahead and diving right into everything, man. So I was doing a little research on you, kind of, you know what I'm saying, digging some shit up, you know what I'm saying, not nothing crazy or whatever. But so just kind of tell me about yourself, man. You from New York?
Yeah, so I was born in New York, born in the Bronx. That's where my mom and my pops is from. And then when I was like 3-4 years old, my mom had moved to Florida. So that's where most of my adolescence was, where I grew up. And then 14, 15, I had moved back with my pops to New York, graduated high school there. Flash forward, that's where we at now. Currently living upstate New York after finishing school and shit. So
for sure. Okay. So kind of moving a little bit around and shit. That seems like a really big culture shift or a culture shock situation.
I'm not gonna lie to you. You can take this how you want to take it, but my first day in New York City, niggas got robbed for their phone walking to school. I was lost. I was just walking to school. I'm minding my business in my little school uniform. Feel something on my back and said, "Don't move. Give me your phone." I'm like, all right, bro, here you go. You can have that. I get to school, do a little find my iPhone shit, whatever, because they questioning me while I'm late. This man just broke my phone and left it in the park. I said, no, this city's a wild place. They just doing crime to do it.
I was like, he stole your phone just to break the shit?
He couldn't get into it because, you know, find my iPhone in the lock and shit.
Nah, that's wild. That's that's super wild. You know, I'm from North Carolina, and I you know, there was a lot of people that would move from New York down to Charlotte specifically, and they would be like telling us some shit and just telling us stories and shit. And I'd be like, man, like, why would y'all, like, I couldn't live in a place that's like, though, that shit's crazy as hell. It's just the mindset. But they were just like, nah, but I love it though. I love the city. I love it. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, yeah, the city is great. It is great. There's so much opportunity, which is crazy. We'll get to that a little bit later. But I've had academic opportunities as well as business opportunities that have been exponentially greater than if I would have stood in Florida.
For sure. Yeah. We definitely gonna tap into that. I want to get more on that. So kind of sticking, you know, saying back in that time frame. So running back, when do you realize or when do you remember that you kind of found that love for music or that knack for music? Because I do want to say, listening to your music, I can tell that you actually you know, so you're actually writing, you actually putting passion into your projects, which you know is a really lost art for real. So yeah, like when did that happen first for you?
All right, so I could say that this journey with art began very young. In 5th grade, I had we had did these paintings, these oil pastel paintings, and I copied this famous artist. I don't know what it is. He's like blue, sitting with a guitar sideways like this. I think it's some famous artist. I copied that painting, did it oil pastel, and it ended up going into some art show in Florida. Sold for like $1,000 as a kid. So once that happened, my mom knew that I was good at arts, and then I was just always focused into that realm. At first, it was just a skill I noticed where I could see something and copy it. Like I was literally like a copy and paste machine. I was good at doing that.
Word.
So I was also very good at public speaking. So those two skills matched together. And then the first time I ever, fell in love with music is when I heard Kendrick Lamar's project, Good Kid, Mad City. And all of that project made me feel like I was engulfed in whatever environment he was in. And I was probably like 12 years old as a young kid. So that's still middle school. So at that time, that's when I'm really figuring out myself and my identity. And I had always been doing things like public speaking because of my academic skills in my school. So like I said, the ability to speak and storytell has always been there. I don't know where that came from. And they were always just like, oh, you're a leader, you know what to do. You feel me? Your voice is changing. But the whole being able to put 2 and 2 together came from when I realized like it was Kendrick. His storytelling made me say, oh, I could do the same thing. This is crazy. This is it's not that it's difficult, but this is something I want to replicate. And that's where this journey began.
Word. And that's super interesting that you got off on that as far as with Kendrick, because I can't remember. I apologize, I can't remember the name of the exact track, but I do remember what you were talking about. I'm pretty sure you were either reaching out to somebody, saying like somebody you used to fuck with in the past, saying like a female or somebody, but you were pretty much explaining that y'all pretty much both had a fucked up past. You said you didn't have a father, she didn't have a mother, or maybe it was vice versa. And you were pretty much, this was off of the Mecca tape.
Yeah, my first tape. That's crazy.
Yeah. I was bumping it, man. I fuck with it, and the one thing that I liked a lot about it was you got so straight to the point at the very beginning. Like it was almost like a shock to the system. It was like, don't ask me about my dad, or I slapped the shit out of it. I was whoa, like you know what I'm saying? It kind of like really got it like that gut punch to the point. And that's what I feel like artists like Kendrick really did, especially with his last album. Like really just gut punch to the throat, like everything that you need to hear, even though you didn't realize you needed to hear it. So it was just kind of crazy to hear like you was kind of on that same frequency back in 2018. So
yeah, it's that project was a direct reaction to the environment that was around me in my life and everything I was going through. We'll get into the specifics of how my raising was a little bit later in my life, but my parents weren't really there, but they were there. So it was more of a like.
I mean, honestly, we can
become my own.
We can get into it if you want. I said we can go ahead and get it.
Well, yeah. All right. So, like I said, I had moved to New York when I was about 15, 14, around that age. And that's because my mom's, she had got into some drugs and ended up, you feel me, falling victim to the cycle. And at that point, my father was unaware of what was going on. And my father's on the exact opposite side of that spectrum, we could say, without incriminating anybody. So his understanding of what was going on, he had no idea. He was perplexed by the situation. So when I came to New York, remember how you said it was a culture shift? For me, it was a culture shift from just New York City and then my family. It was like my dad would explain it as, your mom raised you like a savage. You act like you was raised around wolves. And I was like, shit, I don't really know what that means, but now I'm here. I got to figure it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I got to New York, like everybody says, it's real gritty. And to make it simple, I was just a dumb, happy Southerner. Like, hey, let's all be friends, kumbaya. Because Florida is bad, but it's not on the same type of timing as New York. New York is so different. Yeah, it's so, because everything is so close, everything is so political. You could have problems with somebody that lived 5 minutes away from you. It's not the same stuff. It's too spread out. So with Mecca, that whole don't you ask me about my dad shit was like, I was feeling like he didn't understand who I wanted to be as a man. And then everybody else trying to compare me to who he was. And like, I'm supposed to be him. If I'm supposed to be him, that's a failure because he's raising me to be something different. So that's why it's like, if you feel like I don't know what a man is. Don't ask me about my pops. My pops is here. Ask yourself about why you asking me these questions. At that point, I was really angry in life, and I felt like, not even angry. I just felt like I knew what it was I needed to do to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because
No, I
go
feel
ahead.
that. I feel that 100. Like, when you said that, it made me kind of resonate a lot because I feel like I had similar actually pretty much a very similar situation with my mom and my dad. Not like to like the exact detail, but to the point that it kind of got to a point where it's just like I don't really feel like I know my dad enough or was
Mhm.
around him enough to when people just when they look at me, they're just like, "Oh, you JJ," and I'm just like, "Nah, like that's him, that's me. I'm KJ." Like, nah, that's like, what I'm saying, we separate, we're two different people, but people would really, make those, those comparisons, especially, and then we damn near look like twins, so that don't even make it no damn better. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely understand the that parable of kind of being like, dang, I realize that's my pops, but I'm also my own person. Like, don't put me in that same bucket.
Yeah, especially when he ain't meet me till I was 15, 16. The man don't know me. Like we just developed a good relationship to the point where we talk on the daily, and it's not no hi son, bye son. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it
Mm.
was terrible before, but that comfortability, no matter who it is, you can't just be thrown into a relationship with a person and then feel comfortable enough to open up to them. You gotta know these people. And so that
For
whole
sure.
Mecca project, it kind of was a play on my name because Medina is a special reference in the religion of Islam, and then so the pilgrimage is from Medina to Mecca. So in this sense, that was me saying like, this is my transcendence. This is me moving
Yeah.
forward. This is where I'm going. Basically, yeah.
So I
That's
was
go ahead.
I'm sorry, yeah. I was curious to that, and sometimes I feel like when I be looking at situations, I get too deep or I look
Mhm.
too deep into the situation. So when I heard Medina, like I'm not Muslim, or I looked into it. I study religions and stuff like that. So I was
Mhm.
just like, that sounds like one of the pillars, like one of the 5 pillars. I was just like, nah, it probably ain't that deep. So I'm glad that you actually said that because I mean that's my next question. Like, are you a practicing Muslim or is that just something that you like a play
Yeah.
off?
So I did. I did do the equivalency of what a Christian baptism is to become a Muslim, but in terms of practicing, I do what I can on the education level at which I'm at. When I was in New York City, my uncle in Brooklyn, he's the one who helped me with everything, and so I was going to the mosque every day, and I was getting engulfed into the religion. But the reason that I became Muslim was because I figured out that I'm most comfortable with a faith that is, only has one God. It's simple for me. And then I realized that religion is lifestyle. So to me, that the lifestyle that they're preaching to me is a
Mm-hmm.
clean, safe, and healthy lifestyle. And the essence of what I actually seen my uncle and how he lives, that's what I wanted to replicate. He has a regular 9 to 5 job. He owns his own crib in Flatbush, and he's putting all his kids through college, and he has a great life. It didn't get that way in 2 days, but
Mm-hmm.
if I'm diligent enough to follow the rules of the practice and stay true to my faith, then I understand that I'll be successful. And it's crazy because to me, like that's my real name, my real last name. So it's just like, this didn't come from somewhere. I just feel like it just came from inside of me.
That's what's up. I like that. I really like that, man. And so you made a lot of mention to your uncle. Like, was he a really pivotal, figure in your upbringing? Excuse me.
Yeah, so me and my brother, we don't have the same father. So we got
Mm-hmm.
separated at the time where I came to New York. When he came back to New York, this is really his uncle. But you feel me? Me and my brother only
Yeah,
2 years apart, so we raised together. And so my brother does
yeah.
music as well. His name is Lone Canine. I feel like I do boom bap. He does more of like hyper pop type of stuff. Ain't nothing wrong with it. To each his own. But I say that to explain that my uncle was basically the person who can attest to the shift, and either you can go one way or you can go the other way. My brother ended
Mm-hmm.
up he ended up joining the gang in Flatbush and dropping out of high school, and he's doing what he does now. He's doing his thing, making music, making his noise. But I ended up not doing making those decisions, continuing with college, And at the age of 23, I've been able to buy myself 6 cars, afford myself 4 apartments completely on my own. And, I got a good paying job. I'm an electrician right now. I finished college. I'm in the middle of an apprenticeship. And even though I'm trying to make my strides and gains with this music and everything else that is involved in entertainment, I understand that you need a way to fund yourself and have a fundamental backing as to what it is you really want to do in your life. And he was the person who taught me that. And with the principles in Islam, I was able to stay focused and not be tempted by the vices of the city.
That's a big one. That's a big one. I think that's one of the things that, in any culture, regardless of what city, whether it is Charlotte, North Carolina, Bronx, New York, or some small ass town in Missouri, if they have a hood, they got some black people in the hood, they're gonna be dealing with some type of similar struggle to trying to make it out of that environment physically and also mentally, and being real close to people who unfortunately go that other way. And, say it's just a fact of kind of what we go through. And there was a point I was trying to land on. Oh yeah, so yeah, that was something that I'm glad that you segued into, as far as you going to school. And I think it was I'm not gonna say the name, saying saying the saved in the press, but it was like a pyrotechnic institute at some point, correct?
Yeah.
You was so being that because I think this is a really good part to kind of segue into before we go to something just a little bit more fun. Being somebody who have a full-time job, you working, so you're doing your thing, you have your trade, not just a job, it's actual trade, and really doing your thing, but you're also trying to pursue music. How do you balance that time? Like, how do you feel like you're able to define that time management, or is it just like you just do what you got to do?
All right, so I could tell you that some people that's about to y'all come in the camera. Some people that's about to come in here now is my fraternity brothers. I'm in their house right now, so I learned time management and through my experience joining fraternities, joining my fraternity. I'm not telling anybody else to make that decision. You do that on your own. But my brothers taught me how to be successful and how to manage my time, in the sense where the president of my chapter also went to my high school. He was the varsity captain, and I played varsity when I went there. So when I moved up here, he taught me how to manage going to school and working at the same time. And basically that same principle is what I do with music. I use music at school, and work is still the same thing. I work 4/10s at my job. So I'm working 6:30 to 5, 6:30 some days, but usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm good. So my Friday, Saturday, Sundays is when I put in all my work. And I'm very, very, I don't know what the word is, but I could put out like 10 songs in a studio session, not even because it's rushed, but it's because I've already been thinking about so much of what I want to say and how I
knock that shit out.
Yeah. So even now, I got probably like 300 songs I'm still working on rolling out and figuring out.
For sure. So that kind of this is actually a good segue into my next question on the next segment, kind of going into something more fun. Like, when you look at the artists that you've been fucking with, as far as like your come up or the people around you, or even saying big artists in the game, like, who would you say has been the most influential on how you make your music and your sound of music?
I guess I have to give this one to the home team. My bro Leaky XIV on all platforms, Leeky XIV. He's my fraternity brother, and he's the one who really put the battery in my back to get started and taught me how to use an interface, how to use a mic, what speakers to use, taught me the technicality behind things. And then one of my best friends, Naomi, you can find her on Instagram at Nay Cabri or Mixed by Naomi. She went to school for audio engineering at I think it's AIE or something like that in New York City. Okay. When we were in college, we were just watching YouTube videos of Pro Tools, Logic, how to do this, how to do that. So the whole of how music actually, how I learned how to do it, just came from a fascination of I want to be a musician. And it came from one of my bros that was already doing music here locally. And that is still an ongoing process. So like even even now, I got a YouTube channel where I'm just giving the fans an insight onto my life. And I'm about to drop 2 videos about how to make a rough mix of your song. And that came about because I was collaborating with another fraternity brother. And we were trying to figure out how to get a certain sound. I called Naomi. She showed me what to do. The thing is, like I said, I know how to copy and paste, right? So for me, I see the functions and the tools on the DAW, and I know what to do with them, but I don't know why. I don't know really what they're doing. So once we called her, we got that explanation done, and now it's like it's clicking in my head. So every day I'm learning from everybody around me. But yeah,
that's smooth. I really fuck with that. I have a lot of relation to that right now. I'm in school right now actually for audio production at Full Sail. So I'm literally learning all that stuff, you know, bouncing back between Pro Tools and Logic, and you know, saying like I said, learning how to use the interfaces and mics and all that shit like that. When I first started podcasting, I was doing this shit off my phone. I had a little mic that plugged into the bottom of my phone, and I thought I was doing big shit. Then I got me a USB mic, and I was like, oh, I'm legit. I didn't even know about the whole, you know, saying the whole setup and shit. And I was just like, what the fuck is a DAW? Like, I was just like, what does that even mean? Like electronic synthesizers, you know what I'm saying? Like all this shit, 100%. It was beyond me. Huh?
I said 100%. I understand exactly what you're saying. A lot of this shit could be, excuse my language, a lot of this stuff could be confusing because we aren't really educated on this. At least,
yeah. We didn't get it like that. I feel like the generation right before us was very much so self-taught as far as like, you know, saying how they did it. You know, there was like, that was kind of like my mind said the JDollaz era, where that was like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's amazing, but they were self-taught. They were really just kind of, you know, saying really put that shit down versus, you know, there's so many different ways to do shit now. The technology keeps on moving and moving. But I like how you made a lot of emphasis on your team, you know, your collective. And I definitely don't want to let this go by without you, you know, saying really shouting them out and giving heavy support to the team. So yeah, tell me about the collective and, you know, saying the people around you and, you know, saying what they do for you.
Yeah, so I started this collective called the Stu Corp. You can find us on social media, pretty much on all platforms at that name, STU. Right now we got about 4 artists. We got Waj, we got Cerebral, we got me, Medina, we got CTG, and then we got Naomi is our producer, but she's also an artist. And then the last one we have is my bro Mac. His name's Todd, but he goes by Mac. He's from Rochester. CTG, she's from the city. I'm from the city. We both from the Bronx. Naomi's from Brooklyn, and Cerebral, he's from Brooklyn as well. So we got a different range of artists. We got singers, R&B. We got CTG. To me, she's more of like a ski mask raunchy type of rap style. She's the unapologetic nerd that people didn't really like, but now I'm here. So what you gonna do about it?
I fuck with that.
Yeah. Then really we all met in college at going to school and wanted to be musicians and putting our minds and our creativity together. And we aren't all on the same trajectory, but we are all on the same path and have the same end goal. So everything we do, every time we learn something, we teach each other. We teach each other how to excel and how to move forward in that sense. My bro Leaky, he isn't a part of the collective, but in a sense, he's kind of like somebody who was there, but who wasn't there. He was the one who was like, oh, I like what y'all doing. Let me introduce you guys to everyone else around this city who's doing music. We got a few other people that do stuff around here. Like there's this one platform called The Loft. There's another platform called Eat Local. There's a few different people some people doing feud reviews, some people interviewing all the local talent, some people like Nomadic Voices helping to curate open mics and bring events together for people. So like the Nomadic Voices, this is a kid named Tabo. I did an open mic for him through the support of my bros here, who were helping me to break out my shell in terms of performing and knowing what to do. And so he saw me do that, and now he's helping me to get a performance at the Pratt Institute Munson Williams Museum here in our town, which is a really big museum. So I'm going to be performing one of the songs from Life Full of L's there in a more poetic expression. But just from collaborating with my team and expressing to them like, yo, I need to figure out how to really get my voice out there. Everybody says that what I'm saying is my voice, right? That's why y'all telling me I'm doing this. And me not being educated enough or knowing what to do, I talk to them, and now them just helping me practice led me to an opportunity for people to see my talent. So that's kind of how this whole collective thing works for me. It's not about, oh, I need what you need, but if you can help me, we'll all help each other.
Yeah, it's all about you gotta put out to get to pull back. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're not pouring out anything, then you can't be expecting anything to be poured back into you. And I feel like, you know what I'm saying, the best collectives are always gonna be the ones that you're right. Like, as far as like not everybody being on the same path or being on the same wave. Because for one, listening to 6 or 7 niggas that all sound the same is boring anyways. So it's like if everybody's doing the same shit, it doesn't matter. I mean, like that's not gonna be a thing. So it's like for y'all to all be on different waves and be doing doing different shit. I feel like those are the ones that really end up, you know what I'm saying, standing the test of time, you know what I'm saying, really actually, you know what I'm saying, sticking together because, you know, so y'all actually all building, which is hella dope, you know what I'm saying. Shout out to y'all. You know what I'm saying? You know, definitely, you know what I'm saying, much more success to y'all and everybody and all the artists, all the camp, all the producers, everything. Much success to y'all. But definitely, so leading into this project, Life Full of L's, you know, it's funny because I love when artists when they just put out like, you know, the you know, it's in that what do you want to call it, like an acronym, or they just kind of make people guess what it means. So I was just like, it stands for like live fucking life or live fuck love. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, I don't know what the fuck it should be, but I was just like, all right, bet. So I got into it. Yeah. And one thing that I realized is that the tracks, even though maybe not extremely dynamically different, all kind of point at 3 different parts of a subject. If that, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if maybe I'm perceiving it wrong, but I looked at all 3 of them as like literally you just pointing at the same picture at three different ways and explaining it 3 different ways, which kind of really fucked me up a little bit mentally because I was like, this is actually really dope. So like, can you kind of like go into like a explanation? If I'm completely off, I'm fine. Like tell me like,
you're in the ballpark. So LFL for me was it's called Life Full of L's. That's really what the acronym is standing for, and life full of losses. So my interpretation of this is, or my goal is to turn this into a series of how, like, we'll say people like French Montana got Coke Boys 1 through fucking 100.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I want this to be a live documentation of things in my life that I thought would be a negative, but I turned them into a W. So each song is my perspective on how you take a loss in terms of that emotion or in that environment and make it a W, and what I did in my time or what I experienced and how you can learn from that. So I think one of the tracks you liked a lot was NLB, which is Never Look Back.
Never Look Back. Yeah, it's my shit.
So that track was basically about like, my bros, they tell me I'm basically a lover boy a lot, and sometimes I fall too much into women and what their problems are. But for me,
I'm that one in my friend group too.
That means we're gonna go out together. You know what I'm saying? We good. But like even in my fraternity, my frat name is Pillar. So regardless, everywhere in my life, I have this idea of me being a foundation or helping people. That's just my natural tendency. So I had to tell myself that, like, you can't look back at what these people have done in their past and try to fix them for that. You have to accept where they're at and help them move forward. And if they don't want to do that, then it's your job to continue to not look back and you move forward. Because if you look back, you'll never get to where you want to be. There's so many things and so much time and so much opportunities for us to achieve what we want to achieve on this planet. And we focus them on, or I wouldn't say focus, we invest them into minuscule things or immature ideas that we aren't really developing to their full potential. And to me, like I said, I'm a byproduct of 2 19-year-olds that met each other and then they had a kid. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I don't want to be in that same situation. I don't want to put anybody else into that situation. So with that one song, it was just whatever your emotions are in terms of love or lust or whatever it is, don't be afraid to act on them. But you feel me? Just like anything, you want to be successful, conquer them, do what you have to do, and then create new ones. Don't continue to stay pressed on the same thing.
For sure. I fuck with that. I definitely fuck with that because, you know, I feel like the one thing in life that I feel like holds I'll just talk about us as a people, as a culture. The one thing that holds us back is that we spend way too much fucking time looking backwards and not focus on what we can do to go forward. And that's why, like I said, when I heard that track, I really fucked with it. And honestly, anything along that same accord, it kind of, you know, makes me think of like that. I know I'm going way left with this one, but it's T.I. and CeeLo. They have a track. I think it's called Rear View or something like that, the rear view mirror, some shit like that. But it's about, you know what I'm saying, if you're gonna look back, look in the rear view, but you still driving forward, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because that shit don't fucking matter at the end of the day. You know, you gotta know your past to know a little bit of who you are, but don't spend too much time on that shit, because I ain't trying to be the same person in 20 years. So just because I'm who I am right now doesn't mean that I need to be focused on that for the next 20 years, because I'm never gonna change. For sure.
I agree with that 100%.
Already, man. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you good. I was gonna say you want to get into another track, right? So
yeah.
The track list is we got LIBL is Life I've Been Living, and that one was basically for me to tell you, like, I've gone through a lot of the same struggles that everybody has gone through. You know what I'm saying? And if I can make it through these struggles in this tiny bubble that I've been in, because this, you know, where I went to school in the city where I'm at, it's not big, it's small. So if I can make it out of this, anywhere you guys are at, you can make it out of that as well. Because even in New York City, everything is just small bubbles, small environments. The easier it is for you to conquer your small pond, then you can keep moving forward and get to a bigger pond and continue to grow.
And you know, I actually have a question about that, and I like to ask New York artists about this, because with New York is a very unique place. Like there's nowhere else like New York, and
in the world.
Not being from New York, you really don't understand how New York actually works. So like, not being from New York, they're just like, yo, name me the, you know, the areas, and I'm gonna be like Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, Manhattan, da da da. I'm not thinking, I didn't even know that there was another part of New York, like Syracuse, Utica, like all this shit. Like I never knew that, because I'm not from there, because that's just not what's publicized. So being from the city, but then now being outside of the city, do you, what's the best way for me to say it? Do you feel like is there any type of pressure, you know, saying being from one of the boroughs and now being, you know, saying outside of that, to kind of, you know, because I feel like people that are from the boroughs and in the boroughs are still currently they're just like they're the best. It doesn't matter. Like they shit on, like they just shit on everybody. That's their mindset. And I'm not saying that's wrong. You know, you gotta think you're the best, but like, you know, kind of a long question. How do you feel about, you know, that pressure?
So in terms of the pressure, to me, I would say I don't even think about it in terms of it being on my shoulders, like it's bothering me. But it's like, no matter what you want to do, it's the pressure's gonna be there. You got to be able to live up to it and stand up to that test of time. And it's like, I seen this clip from Drake, I think last night, and he was like, you know, you don't know when it's that time that's gonna decide the future. So you always got to be ready to have that energy and prepare that time so that you can secure your future. He said he didn't know what time he went on stage and when he went on stage that made him Drake, but him performing every time like he was like that. Now look at him. You know what I'm saying? So that's the energy that I carry into everything I do. But there's definitely a difference in the effort that people put when they're from New York City and when they're from the surrounding areas. I would say there's a big misunderstanding that people from the city and people from outside the city can't have the same drive or be as good as that. But like somebody from, we'll say, somewhere that's close to New York City, like Newburgh, versus being from the Bronx, it's two completely different things, because that's where my bro Leaky's from. And he does not act the same way as people from the city does, but he's not no Sherm. He's not no, you feel me? He's not a Herb. You can't just walk all over him. But it's just to say that everywhere in New York is like its own little mini borough in a sense, because you probably never heard of Newburgh, but if you look up the crime rate, top 10 worst cities in the United States.
It's crazy. It's crazy how that shit works. And you know, I feel like as long as you keep it respectful, even if you haven't even heard of the place, you know what I'm saying, people will just be like, well, I ain't never heard of it. It's like, nah, chill on that, because every place is different. You ain't gonna just pull up there, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like people gotta just, you know what I'm saying, respect everybody or every place that everybody's from, and and I, you know what I'm saying, like I said, not having that mindset, but then being expanded to do so, you know what I'm saying, hearing about cats like you, cats of your collective. Shout out to PB Mogul, shout out to my boy Spartan, shout out to Griselda, like, you know what I'm saying, like there's a whole big thing coming from places that is just like, I didn't know what Buffalo, New York was, you know what I'm saying, I had no idea that there was a thing, and I was just like, oh shit, like that's a whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
But one thing I could say about the difference, at least from the city and upstate, is that upstate is definitely each area has a select sound. I don't know how to explain it, but whenever you have your own time, do your own little research into it. Just the music, like look at the difference in music from Buffalo and music from Rochester. And those places are only 2-3 hours away from each other. Two completely different sounds. And then, you know, somebody like Tuzi or Post Malone, they're from Syracuse. So that's the more melodic sounding coming out of there right now. Albany, they're on some melodic rap, but more like similar to how the Migos and Rich the Kid and Famous Dex and all of them was doing it when they first came out. But it's still on some trap hard sound. Like it's just crazy how all the different areas that we're at, the major cities, they're on these nice little waves where, to me, like I said before, my energy is I'm gonna do what I gotta do to be the best in wherever I'm at. But I'm never trying to take away from somebody else. I'm always trying to collab and see how we can help each other. Because, feel me, if you sound nice and I sound nice, we only gonna sound together.
What would you consider your sound? Like, what would you consider like your specific wave?
I guess I could say that I would put myself in the storytelling category, wherever that is. I'm a storyteller. No matter what beat, what environment, what genre it is, I'm a storyteller. And I'm gonna get that out there. And I want to take you on a journey. And like I said, when we first started this, is like my goal is to be like the creative director of my collective. We get a big bag. I want to be directing everybody's videos and showing them how whatever they are trying to say in their music, this is how we could tell them in the simple way. This is how we could tell them in a complicated way. And this is how we could fuck them up and they not even know what we saying to them. But
I fuck with that.
That's why I consider myself just a storyteller. Because I'm just like, just to bring it all full circle, like the way that I learn is visual. So for me, it's like I have to paint a picture for you. That's the way I fell in love with this. So I got to paint pictures.
I like that. That's definitely bringing it full circle, man. Man, you done a lot of interviews, man, because like that was actually like a perfect little place for you. You put the little breadcrumbs at the beginning, and you was like, "Yeah, I'm coming back to that shit, nigga."
Nah, I haven't. This is my first one.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, man, you doing great, man. I would have never known. Excuse me. But something I definitely got to ask, you know, so as we kind of wrapping everything up, I have to ask, and this is, you know, very important. Actually, I probably should have started with this, man, but I just like to check in and tap in with everybody and ask on a real level. You know, I feel like when you see people in passing, like, yo, what's going on, man? How you doing? I'm straight, man. How you doing? I'm good. But on some real shit, how are you doing? Like, how are you actually doing, you know what I'm saying, right now in this headspace?
So I can say right now, we'll say just with this whole 9 to 5 and working and surviving, I'm 100% good on that aspect. I achieved my goals academically, and I'm on my way to becoming a journeyman electrician. Once I do that, I could be handling jobs for the state, making 100K with my eyes closed. So that is good. That's where I'm at on that aspect. In terms of, we'll say, love or passion or whatever, again, a nice, happy relationship, you feel me? Got my family going, and that aspect of life is being worked on right now. My mom's about to come out of jail, about to move her in. We about to focus up, buy a crib, and start building basically a campus for my family.
Yeah.
I'm about to do something crazy. I'm trying to build shipping container homes for people. I'm trying to make that my bag, become a general contractor that you give me $500,000. You say we buy some land, we build these containers for you. Now your family has this property that you can consider a campsite if you want, but you can stay there. It'll be self-sufficient, and now y'all can focus on what y'all got to focus on for life. No, it sounds very extreme, but that's where my mind is at for that.
It sounds beautiful, bro.
And the last one, I guess, we got mental health, we got family, and then we got real life. So my mental health wise, I'm doing good. Music for me is expression. Like I say, I got all these positive people around me that we're not all in the same lane. We got one of my bros that's GTS, not to confuse him with CTG. He's more into gospel, bringing the holiness into his music, but he's not a gospel rapper. You feel me? Not a gospel singer. So it's like we're all
So you
on
like
different
Kendrick?
exactly.
I
We
fuck with that.
all on different lanes and waves that where it's where if I'm feeling low in one spot, I got somebody I could talk to that could help lift me up. And it's not in a negative where I'm like dependent on these people, but I got a good circle around me where I don't need to go outside or go anywhere else to have the support in order to bring me back to where I need to be Medina and to be that guy. Cause it's
Yeah.
really like I see myself as just trying shit out and just living my life. And I got people behind me that they like, nah, bro, you really that nigga, and you have to show the world that that's who you are. I got my brothers in Florida hitting me up over Facebook, like, nah, bro, I've been listening to your last project. You got to keep going. You cannot stop. This shit is great. I listen to this shit every day. Got my bros right here behind me who are like, yeah, we've been doing music, but together you gives us more motivation. You feel me? Yeah, you inspire me to go harder. So you can't
Yeah.
stop going hard. So it's like, it's not like there's an expectation for me, but no matter what I do, and I can't even look back. Like you said, even if I'm looking back, I'm in the rearview mirror and everyone's telling me keep going forward. You know what I'm saying?
Big facts, man. Like big facts, man. First, I gotta say I appreciate your honesty, you know what I'm saying, answering that.
Yes,
And I agree. I agree with your folk 100%. And like I said, I'm not, everybody that I bring onto the show, I try my best. I'm a fan of, you know what I'm saying? I have to be a fan of your music to, to bring you on the show, just because I'm not gonna waste anybody's time and I'm not doing shit for clout, right? So it's
Yeah.
like when I really heard your music, like I was like, anytime somebody sends me music, like I'm always excited to hear it, but I don't even feel like my excitement did not prepare me for what I actually heard, because I was like, yo, this shit is actually really, really fucking good. And like, it's not that I wasn't looking for it not to be, but you know what I'm saying, it's kind of hard to explain, but it really just surpassed my expectations and what I was getting ready to hear. So I'm definitely, so I'm looking forward to, hearing more projects coming from you. So hearing anything you really got going on, please send it to me, I will blast it, make sure I put it everywhere. And yeah, man, of course, man, you definitely got a fan over here. And let everybody know where they can find you, where they can follow you, and where they can listen to your music.
So I'm on all major streaming platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, whatever you use. Search up M3dina. You'll find me. On socials, you can find me at real.d3no, Dino. And that's how y'all can find me. Be on the lookout. I got another music tape dropping in I think a few months. I got a drill music coming soon. I got more of this like SoundCloudish type of sound to come and link up with my brother. And I'm also dropping more of the boom bap stuff coming soon. I got a video coming out for my song Victim, which is a big storytelling. We're going to take you on a journey about what it really means to grow up in this city and how you get out of it and how you are supposed to perceive the winners. Because everyone thinks if you win, you're beautiful and you don't have battle scars. But those are the only people who win. Like they say, the victor tells history. So.
Yeah, talk that shit, man. Talk that shit. And definitely talking about the wins and the losses. Make sure that y'all listen to Life for the Losses. That track, man. I mean, sorry, that tape, excuse me, is definitely on this. It's on the one, man. It's on the one. So yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on to the show again, bro. Like I said, it's definitely been a pleasure. We're gonna stay tapped in.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. And I'm gonna stay tapped into the Country Fan Mail Network, and we're gonna see what else you guys got going on.
Already, man. We gonna be going up, doing our thing. Appreciate y'all. Clue the Down Country Fan Mail Podcast. You already know what it is. We out of here. All right, I want to thank y'all for tapping in with another compilation video on Country Fan Mail. I just want to show y'all we still have things up. We're not gone. We're not gone. We will be back. Just stay tuned. But make sure that y'all tap in with our next compilation video. Not sure where we're going to go with it next, but it's going to be dropping here soon. I was trying to delay the ending of the video to see if the first lady was going to walk in, but she is doing other things. So thank y'all so much for tapping in with that video. See y'all next time.
Get more cheese. Get more cheese. Slipping like 40 first and last step. Representing that first and 15. Yeah.
And this one right here, I dedicate this one right here to all my homies out there grinding. You know what I'm saying? Legally and illegally. You know what I'm talking about? Kick. Push. Coast.